Hello and welcome, Clash Royale fans. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you here to the LPL World Tour. We are bringing things back for 2024. There is a chance for a number of our competitors coming into this tournament and the next stage of it as well to win themselves some big prize money and then, of course, earn points towards that coveted community leaderboard qualification spot to the Clash Royale World Championships. My name is Blue Panda. Joining me on the mic tonight, Cthulhu. We're coming into it. This is a global competition. We are seeing some of the best players from around the world competing today and tomorrow to earn those big points, those big bucks.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, the big competition is now it's high time we do get ourselves some good early indicators of who will be some of the first few competitors to go towards the world finals. And look, honestly, I'm excited as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's already proven to be quite a big tournament. Looking at it and how things have gone, we had a huge number of signups. There were a huge number of players that wanted to get themselves into the LPL Clash Royale World Tour. And looking at how things are playing out, coming into it, we've got 2 seasons of action throughout this LPL World Tour. And I mean, you're looking the top 16 coming into this matchup playing a double elim best of 3 bracket in the 1v1 format, but only one person can take out each of our stages. They will win the major chunk of that prize money and earn those coveted community leaderboard points. And I mean, it is all about those points coming into the tail end of 2024.
Absolutely, and I mean, with that comes as well the importance of basically each and every game possible, really, to get yourself as quickly and as far as possible in terms of the winnings, the way how you progress through the bracket as well. And there is going to be a lot of competition, and I would imagine the emotions would run high as well.
I'm expecting it to, especially given some of the names that we have in this competition, and some of those that, I mean, some matches have already been played out. So we'll be honest, look, there's a lot of Clash Royale to be played, so we've played out some matches early just to sort of, streamline the process. But having a look at it and how things are going, there is big money on the board. There is a huge amount of money on the board. In fact, up for grabs, $12,500 here in stage 1, and that is US dollars to boot. Cthulhu, first place, will walk away with $5,500, and I mean, there are a number of hungry players looking for that change.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have some absolute star players as well lined up for the matches today, and yeah, like you highlighted, $5,500 as the first place, plus the community points as well, will be a very much sought after result for a number of players here.
And speaking of the players, let's dive into the bracket and see who is taking to the battlefield, to the arena today. And already we've started our matches in Cthulhu. I mean, you look at the likes of Sandbox, you got Tar, you've got Riley, one of the very well-known content creators in the Clash Royale community. We've got representatives from Tribe, and the man, the myth, the legend, arguably one of the best, if not the best in the scene at the moment, Mohamed has stepped into play here for the Clash Royale World Tour.
Absolutely. So yeah, for Mohamed Light specifically, this has been a bit of an interesting run so far. I mean, quite a few places have been already achieved. But prior to this, back in the Dragon League Season 4, things did not pan out too well for him. 25th to 26th place definitely resulted in a bit of a sour taste.
And I mean, looking at this upper bracket, you can see already some of those matches played out, and we have some of our lower bracket contenders now. I mean, look, yes, we all know the running joke. Mohamed Light does his best to work through that lower bracket run, but it didn't really go that way in the August final. And, well, look, it's starting out that way here for the Clash Royale World Tour. He's playing through that upper bracket, but, I mean, the big surprise to me, Cthulhu, OS Sandbox, one of the favorites to win the tournament, knocked out. He just got 2-rounded. It's just insane.
Yeah, it definitely feels a bit of a curious case, to be absolutely honest with you, given that, yeah, like you highlighted, big favorite coming into the competition. I mean, some of the previous results did also show that he would have been the big favorite going into some of those matches, but unfortunately, apart from the qualifier, that's all that was really said.
Well, it's time to jump into our matches, Cthulhu. We've got a very interesting one to start things off, of course, up in that upper bracket. I'm excited, but look, Cthulhu, for those viewers at home that may not be native English speakers, we have Portuguese, Japanese, Korean, and French commentary going on as well through our partner channels that will all be bringing you all the action. But starting things off, Riley and Rin going to be taken to the arena to start our broadcast. Riley, I mean, a very well-known, very well-liked member of the community. We've seen a couple of his matches played out so far, and he's looking pretty strong.
Oh yeah, Riley definitely brings the knowledge that he already manages to put into his content, brings it to the field as well, and has been an absolutely a menace, really, in terms of how he performs, how he plays out his games. And whereas for Rin as well, look, things might be a bit of a challenge straight from the get-go against Riley. Here is going to be a bit of a battle here, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm expecting some interesting matchups. I mean, we get a huge amount of representation from SK Kalalis as well, one of the big teams in the competition in Clash Royale. But I mean, you look at the likes of Twisted Minds, you got Tribe Gaming showing up, and look, I have to say, some of the most impressive mobile gaming clans in the world taking to a tournament here for the LPL World Tour. I mean, look, I'm expecting some big stuff out of it, especially the likes of Mohamed. I mean, the guy... Look, he's had some interesting results in the past, but if he's not winning tournaments, chances are, Cthulhu, he's not playing in them.
That is a very good point, yeah, Panda. Look, yeah, for Mohamed Light, he had an absolutely stellar turnaround. But let's get right into the matchup at hand, though, because we are right on the way for it.
Well, it's time to jump onto things. Riley in the red, looking to start things off. Wow, deep fighter early on from Rin to start threatening.
Yeah, some early minor damage to the towers as well, albeit unfortunately the Tower Princess was not able to save from the initial damage, but the Cannoneer, though, towers, definitely doing the work.
Yeah, I mean, Tombstone down as well, just looking to try to slow things down, give that momentum over to Riley, which is exactly what he's looking for. Little Dragons as well. Getting caught. I mean, so far, Riley, he's looking like he might be able to generate some momentum.
Yeah, Riley's definitely getting some work put in there. And look, as the overall pacing, things are going pretty well. Lava Hound as well being released. So that is going to be a bit of a slow burner to say the very least. But I'm curious to figure out how that rest of the pacing is actually going to go.
Starting that push, does have the balloon up as well. A Knight pushed in from Ren. Going to try and get some chip damage out in the way of this Cannoneer towers. Looking to put in the work, but so far, I mean, this push is looking very, very solid. The Void comes out as well, and Riley gaining some decent momentum off of this push.
That Inferno Dragon is actually going to be putting in some work, and I mean, look at the absolute health pool melting away. Already the whole tower gone as it is. And unfortunately for Rin, this is not looking particularly too stunning of a turnaround, given that he wasn't able to really trade out the tower back.
Yeah, I mean, that lead is going to be sitting quite pretty under the belt for Riley. All he has to do is just sort of hold, and he's going to chuck in the Tombstone as well. Just wants to slow this down. Actually, no, I was going to say maybe he looks to slow it down, maybe he looks to just stall this out, but he's quite happy to keep applying that pressure. Yeah. Minor sent in from Ren to try and threaten, but you can already see those skeletons coming through the log there to pick up, and the Evo Belt coming through as well. Riley's not done. He wants to knock this one out. He wants to get the full 3 crowns.
Yeah, I would imagine this would be a fairly straightforward venture now that the pressure is mounting more and more onto Rin. There is an attempt with the log as well to push through, and it seems like the damage is actually coming around already. Sub 1k HP for the left tower for Riley, which means that, well, in the future pushes, things might go slightly sideways, but the Skeleton Dragons are doing their due diligence.
So far, Riley is managing to stem that bleed. He's only got to hold on for another 20. Fireball going to be going in. And that might set up Rin for a late push, but the miner cleared out. He's going to have to try and cycle to get through if he really wants to threaten with 430 HP on that tower. I don't think he's going to have enough in the tank to threaten the Void there to cover the miner. That was a brilliant read from Riley. Unfortunately, the time not there for Ren. And brilliant start to the day for Riley in this broadcast.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Phenomenal timing, and that early destruction was just absolutely stunning. I mean, being able to put this much pressure this early into the run has made just the perfect situation set up for Riley to just keep on snowballing further and further from there. And yeah, for Rin, it was already a bit of an uphill battle, and yeah, things definitely look quite grim.
Yeah, I mean, you could see Ren was trying to wrench away some of that control from Riley, but I mean, Riley, he's been in the scene for so long. He's not going to fall for those traps and baits. But look, yeah, he played that brilliantly. He played to his strengths, and that deck. I mean, we talked about it coming into today. The theory crafting that have been putting into this tournament is obviously paying off.
Yeah, on top of that as well, I do have to give kudos to Rin as well, using the logs to try to stem the bleeding, to try to generate some sort of a room, some breathing space as well for him to make the push happen, and nearly managed to make it work. Unfortunately, the time was not in his favor either there. So, yeah, look, all the probabilities so far pointing towards Riley's win here, but look, there may just be the opportunity for a comeback here.
I don't know. Yeah, look, we've seen a couple of reverse sweeps in the bracket already. Those 2-1s not always going the way that you'd expect, and we do see a lot of players sort of trading the 1-1, and it does come down to a third match to decide these best of threes. So, look, just because Riley was able to walk away with the first win in that matchup, it doesn't mean that it's a guaranteed game for him. And I mean, Red, look, maybe it was gauging. Maybe that's exactly what he was doing, just trying to get a read on his opponent going into this the rest of this best of three, because there's quite a possibility that Red might make a comeback. There is also a possibility that Riley just absolutely shuts it down as we jump into match 2.
Yeah, match 2 straight on the way. No changes whatsoever to the tower setups. Straight though, from the get-go, we do get to see the very early push of the skeletons. Just try to get some early pressure going, but very, very quickly the Evo skeletons do get shut down. Monk, though, as the early burner.
Knight's going to be coming in, Pecker deep. Looking for that slow roll towards the bridge. Monk, he's going to meet Knight. Cannoneer Tower, he's going to go to work.
Yeah, that's where the Cannoneer Tower is actually coming quite rather big, I'd say.
A bit hard to get a read on to Riley. You only see the top of his head, but the wizard comes out. Inferno Dragon there as well, and Pecker not quite able to hold on. The Ram Raider as well. This is looking like it is a much better start for Rick.
Yeah. The Zappies as well coming in quite big as well to apply some more of that needed pressure. This could be the opportunity, but that drop as well will be shutting down the Knight. It's quite rather unfortunate though. The Zappies will continue their march, but I don't think any sort of tick of damage will happen there.
Yeah, I mean, Ren looking a lot more comfortable here in the second match of this best of three. Riley a little bit under the pump, that right-hand side of the map, but saying that there's still 90 seconds left to play with. Barbarrel does go in. Royal Ghost is going to be the response, making its way onto the field. Riley does have plenty of elixir in the pocket.
Oh, there comes
Pecker. Yeah, he's going to look to be a little bit more offensive here.
Yeah. Pecker is just the perfect choice as well to get rid of the Ram Raider as well, and well, Inferno Dragon should be able to still do some damage here, and the stoppage as well, using the skeletons as well, should do just the right job, as the Barbarian as well will be managing to come through. And yeah, look, this so far, this is looking pretty promising.
Ren not really losing that momentum. In fact, he's sort of building upon it. He's just going to keep chunking away that damage. Barbarrels go through. Riley feeling like maybe he's scrambling a little bit. Zappy's going to be going out to try and clear up some of that mess. Barbarrels as well. And he's doing a decent job at defending here, trying to clear things out.
Yeah, huge damage coming through. One more ram, and that is the tower gone. So Riley getting a bit of a taste of his own medicine, albeit at a much slower pace. But as it stands here, the Ram Raider done the job and spares. And I mean, you look at the health pool for the towers, and it's all borderline perfect out there for Red. So very much so, the comeback is in fact real here, Pat.
10 seconds to go, and this is going to be a 1-for-1 trade. He's going to be the decider here in game number 1 of the broadcast. Look, yeah, it's hard to get a read on either of these two players at the moment. Even Prim just won that, and it looks somewhat nonplussed, actually.
Yeah, just sort of, you know, round done. Gotta continue rolling. Gotta continue the play. Albeit, I do have to note though, the first round went, yes, whilst Riley did manage to take that win with the tower destruction, there was still some damage done by Riley to the towers. This time, this was basically a flawless run in terms of the tower HP for Rin and this definitely makes quite a fair bit of statement. So for Riley now, the ball now back into his court. He now needs to make that play. He now needs to make that push and apply that pressure. And I mean, yeah, looking at some of the stats, average elixir does sort of show that for that last run as well. You know, a little bit more of that poke play as well came from Rin here.
Yeah, I mean, overwhelming number.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of tower damage, more than 4 times what Riley was able to get out. And I mean, Ren's just a little bit faster paced on his deployment there. Which means that look, you got to commend him. The confidence is obviously there. He's going to be looking quite happy, I think, going into this third matchup. But I mean, Riley, you can never count him out. The guy really knows his stuff when it comes to this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would imagine that the content creator brain as well will come in quite rather big there for Riley to, well, keep himself in the run, because I would imagine this is not his first rodeo as well. Far from it, as a matter of fact. So for Riley, he wouldn't be a stranger to these sort of situations where, you know, it's a bit of a tug of war, a little bit of a back and forth. So game 3 should definitely still be a banger.
Absolutely. As we look to get it underway, one will progress, one will head down to the lower bracket and log out early. Interesting from Riley, maybe trying to read into something, but unfortunately it's not quite the game plan there.
Not at all. The early poke to come around though to maybe try to bait out that log would have been great, but unfortunately otherwise nothing really came to fruition. A few of the bats to come through, but apart from that, nothing else. Though now we do get to see the big guns to start coming out. It is the man, the myth, the legend, the giant skeleton.
Yeah. Well, the answer, it seems, is the Mighty Miner, or the Fisherman coming out as well, trying to disrupt some of this push, getting the Mighty Miner in range, and Cannoneers there as well. He's going to make this a little bit less comfortable for Riley. That Fisherman is just going to work, pulling them all across the river. The Goblin Demolisher comes over the bridge too, and it is just absolutely destroyed. So far, this Rin defense has been pretty on point.
Yeah, that actually worked out extremely well here. And I mean, going for the next set of pushes, I mean, we do get to see the deployment of the Royal Giant as well to go on the right lane. On the left lane, it's the Skeletons to be brought out. So I'm very much keen to see how that will really play out, or rather, pardon me, not the guards. Regardless, though, the guards did not, in fact, get the guard done, and in fact got wiped.
Yeah, I mean, nothing huge so far in terms of board damage. It's probably going to be one of the longer matches in this opening start of the day. Giant Skeleton comes out again, Mighty Miner. The response, that slow burn push as they generate that elixir to try and keep things rolling. And there you go, Giant Skeleton paired with the Royal Guard, paired with the Fisherman. Jumps over the river to start attacking the Tesla. It's quite the right move as Riley is starting to deploy the troops. Goblin Demolisher is there. And the push, while it looked like it could have generated some real momentum for Ren, is shut down pretty cleanly.
Albeit still, damage has been dealt in space, so that is at the very least a very good turnaround. Goblin Drill as well as a big opportunity there to create an opening, but as it stands, Rin actually finds really good damage here.
Yeah, and again, neither player seems like they can get a huge amount of momentum going, and the Goblin Drill is just right place, right time, but unfortunately, it could have been the opening that Riley was looking for. We are going to be heading to overtime in just a moment. The Giant Skeleton there, Fisherman going in, but that Tesla Tower makes things very hard. It is the undoing of the Fisherman once again.
Yeah, the Tesla Tower is putting in quite a lot of work, and definitely did get to see, even off stream as well, a few of the initial showcases, and yeah, the Tesla Tower has been putting in the absolute work. The Mighty Miner versus the Royal Giant should be an interesting clash here, including the Fisherman as well, as I
Yeah, it will allow them to take down that Mighty Miner. Hog coming through, that log.
Perfect log.
Trying to make things a little bit more difficult for the Mother Witch there. Goblin Demolisher getting in range. We'll look to start deploying, and you get the damage out on that tower as well. The Giant Skeleton crossing the bridge alongside that Royal Giant as well, and this could be the opening that Red is looking for to try and take some ground, but no, just the overwhelming force of this defense from Riley once again is proving very, very difficult to deal with. The Goblin Demolisher going in once again, that Goblin Drill there too. And everything that Rin tries to do, Riley seems to be a step ahead.
Absolutely, despite the fact as well that Rin is using Rage to empower some of the pushes, and this time stacking 2 of the big hitters as well onto the single lane to try to get some sort of traction going. But as it stands, yeah, things are not looking particularly too clean. The log as well to come through to wipe out the initial party, and yeah, Riley seems to be very much well in control of the situation.
In game 1, definitely a slow burn, then went Riley's way. Game 2, very much more one-sided. Rin looking a little bit more comfortable, but this game 3 has very much been a war of attrition that unfortunately, I hate to say, Rin is losing despite a valiant effort so far. Riley, 18 seconds on the clock, barring a huge push out of Rin. Take down one of these towers. I don't think he's going to do it. And there you go. Riley plays the long game. He gets it done with 10 seconds to spare.
Yeah, rough turnaround here for Rindo. Very much of an upset and a half, considering how well the second round did go for him. But look, all things considered, yeah, for Riley, this was back onto his own sort of preferred pacing, how he set it back in round 1, and the way how he managed to really keep on pushing that whole pace was just absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, look, again, a lot of that pressure, a lot of the ability to shut down the push before even the bridge gets crossed has been absolutely doing spades here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a very comfortable, not necessarily the right word, I think, there for Riley. I think it just sort of came together for him. I think he's very, very happy with how that played out. And looking at it, that middle matchup of the 3, Rin, where he did shine, this is the deck that won him the one of the 3. But unfortunately, yeah, he just couldn't find any more off the back of it.
Yeah, a lot of pokeability, and I mean, remembering the Ram Raider as well, doing absolute work there at the end to get the initial cleanup on the tower. Did, yeah, exactly the job done. So yeah, for Rin, unfortunately, that is the upper bracket basically done and dusted, but still the lower bracket run is all out there and ready to go. But honestly, I have to give it to him. That was a phenomenal attempt here against Riley.
Great show of resilience, and I mean, so much of this game coming down to timing, it can be quite hard, especially when all of a sudden that momentum feels like it's slipping away from you. You just got to keep your cool, especially at those moments where, you know, Riley, we saw it, Rin was making an effort. He looked like he was going to have the push coming his way, and then all of a sudden Riley just drops the hammer, turns that momentum once again.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, you got to commend Rin. He did keep it together as long as he could, but look, Rin now has to run that lower bracket. Riley will carry on in the upper bracket, turning our attention to our second matchup of the day, and things will continue to get even more exciting. It's Wallace taking on Mohamed Light, and I mean, Wallace, he's looked pretty good as well. Cthulhu, both these players have potential to really do some damage in this tournament. I think we are leaning a little bit towards the Egyptian more than the Brazilian in this matchup, though.
Absolutely. So yeah, the big fight here between the Brazilian and the Egypt representatives for the matchup for one of the first few rounds as well of the upper bracket. And yeah, looking at Wallace's results, things been very much on the rougher end of the spectrum in the past few times that he did get to compete. So hopefully for him, this is where he does make a big turnaround. But unfortunately, yeah, that the next step to be able to pull off that turnaround is Mohamed Light, how we highlighted before. He is that big favorite player coming into this competition.
I mean, yeah, it's like I said earlier, if Mohamed Light's not winning tournaments, it's probably because he's not playing in them, so he would be a likely favourite in this matchup. Although, look, we do know that crazy things do happen in esports, and it's never a guarantee at the end of the day that the favoured winner will actually win the tournament. Wallace potentially has the opportunity to cause a bit of an upset here as we jump on into things, of course, but Mo Light is, I mean, look, a player that should never, at any stage in a competition, be counted out.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, man has a full-on throne there as well, ready to go to impose the absolute domination on the opponent. And straight from the get-go, the early pressure to come around could mean a few dot points here for later stages.
Interesting setup so far out of Mo Light. And It is forcing Wallace to a reveal, I think, a little bit more than he wanted to just yet. But just chucking absolutely everything that can possibly stick at Mohamed at the moment. Hasn't netted him a huge amount, but it is something.
Oh, it's something, all right, absolutely. A lot of poke cards, though, to come on through from Wallace as well to see how maybe he could be able to apply the pressure through the Ice Spirit, through Skeletons as well, to get that early pressure. On top of that as well, the Goblin Drill should do some work, but instead from Mohamed Light, a lot of that power now starting to come through, including as well the Evo Skeletons as well.
Yeah, I mean, so far, it is momentum there. That Goblin Drill has been a bit of a problem for Mohamed Light, but not one that has been impossible for him to deal with. The log will clear things out as well. He's having that Tesla to work with. I mean, so far, Mohamed, he doesn't look like he's too fussed. I think he's sitting quite happy at the moment.
Yeah, he definitely, you can see the bit of a smile there as well, ready to, you know, still keep on playing. In comes the Demolisher as well on a slow burner to push the left lane. Let's see how will Mohamed be able to respond there. There are a few of the variations here, but it seems like the Archer Queen is going to be the answer for this question.
In the range to deal with the problem. The Royal Hogs there as well, jumping over that log.
Perfect.
Cleared. Tears the tower just to try and bait the Royal Hogs in, as well as just so much pressure. The Earthquake coming out from Mohamed to try and clear the buildings. He's going to start sticking out his own. He's looking to try and shift that momentum, and it is going to work just a little bit. It distracts the forces coming out of Wallace's half of the arena. Will give him a little bit more time to generate that elixir and start countering.
Yeah, perfect opportunity here to shut down the Demolisher as well. The Tesla Tower is doing some absolute work here. Hoping to find a bit more pressure, a bit more solution here from Poison as well, but is that enough to really bring any sort of pain here to the competition?
That's the question. We're looking to overtime in just a second. Earthquake coming out once again, just to get that little bit of extra chip damage, giving that advantage going into overtime. Archer Queen is there, the Poison, really making it a problem. Royal Delivery coming through to keep that tower nice and healthy. Meet that Goblin Demolisher. You can see Wallace playing into the mind game, switching up the lane, making Mohamed really work for this at the moment.
Yeah, that Demolisher as well is going to make quite a bit of a trouble, but both of the Tesla Towers do get to stay alive. The Knight does get deployed, plus the Earthquake to try to slow things down. In comes, though, the Goblin Drill. That will be applying the majority, well, a good chunk of the pressure, but thankfully the Skeletons are ready to go, ready to rumble. Things are certainly still looking like this would be a bit of a back and forth game.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can tell that there isn't a huge amount of Australian presence in this competition, because otherwise it would be referred to as the Gobbo Drill. Either way, the Royal Hogs heading on out to get things done, looking to clear some of these objectives along the way. So maybe more damage up that right-hand lane. Knight and Goblin Demolisher on the job. Archer Queen. A lot of this is just sort of drive-by strategies, it seems, out of Mohamed Light.
Yeah, definitely drive-by strategy is probably the best way to really describe how things are going at the moment, but he seems to be fairly content with how things are running, given that he does have the health advantage currently in this whole competition. As far as I can see, the log comes around to deal some initial damage, but the Goblin Drill unfortunately does not come to fruition as much as he probably hoped for, but the damage is enough to get rid of the Tesla Tower.
I mean, heavy emphasis on the defensive allows him to just keep chipping away with the Earthquake, with the Royal Hogs just flushing on through that Earthquake in speed. Exactly what has set him up to this point at the moment. Poison out, allowing these Goblins to go to work. And that is an opening that should not be missed. And that is a big opening, in fact, for Wallace. Unfortunately, it's answered back. 7 seconds on the clock, and this is going to be a pretty close run thing. Has Wallace done enough? It looks like he may have.
Wait, maybe not.
This is going to be close. I think Mohamed has just missed out there, potentially. Ooh, no, 8 HP. Separating Wallace from a victory there in the opening round of this match.
Whew. Definitely a bit of a nail biter on that first round. The 8 HP that being the difference maker. Definitely not something that Wallace wanted to see really as the beginning of his round as well, given that those last 10 seconds were getting eerily close to being outside the comfort zone for Mohamed Light. But look, as it stands, the man is still very much in the lead now with a 1 point ahead of his competition. Only one more round needs to be won to push on into the upper bracket. But I gotta say, Wallace did manage to put a bit of a dent.
Well, I mean, the argument has been made time and time again. Mohamed Light does his best work in the lower bracket. And, I mean, look, I don't know if that's where you want to be starting a grand finals campaign, but look, it's worked for him in the past. Right now, though, he's looking solid. He's got that 1-0 start to this best of 3, and he might carry on that winning trend because, look, again, I talked about in that last series, being able to stay calm under pressure in that situation. Mo did just that. 8 HP separating a victory from a loss there for him. He keeps it together.
Yeah, definitely. This should still at least work as a bit of a stimulus for Wallace to continue pushing, given that he was just this close to victory. So surely round number 2 should be a bit of a return to form to get him back into the overall competition. I mean, we already got to see the first 2-1 go full send, full 3 matches as well for the BO3. So just maybe this could be the one as well to go for the full length.
Well, I mean, the fact that the sandbox is already out of the competition, you'd be looking to Mo Light to be the one to carry the torch to the upper bracket. He would be the favourite coming into this. But, I mean, if you can get 2-0'd out of a competition the way that Sandbox did, who's to say some of these up-and-coming players who are probably a little bit less, well, I say a little bit less well-known, they're going to be known in the community. You make top 16 at a competition like this, you're going to be at least known. So, look, I think at this stage, it's still too early to call it one way or the other, but I think there are a couple of heads turning at the moment.
Oh, yeah. 100%. This competition would be actually a perfect opportunity here for some of the more up-and-coming names to finally make their name here and actually establish themselves well and truly within the whole competition. But look, as it stands, that second round, I get a feeling it's going to be quite a saucy one. I mean, from between us seeing, you know, the absolute battle of attrition with just absolute like pixels away from those Tesla towers falling to the whole defense line from Mohamed Light holding up until the last 10 seconds, things are very much just one inch away from crumbling down for both sides. So this is definitely going to be a very fine game of balance for both Mohamed and Wallace, I reckon.
I mean, that is always, it feels like being the case for Clash Royale. You got to balance things on a knife's edge. The timing is so key, and especially when you spread across the world, it can make things just that little bit more contentious. So, look, I think at the moment, Mo Light, he's proved that he's capable across multiple tournaments, across multiple years. Wallace has taken a different approach. He wants to make sure that he's reclined, nice and easy, relaxed, coming into the second match.
Yeah. We do as well get to see the change in the towers. So Cannoneer towers come out from Wallace as well, which is going to be quite huge. Rage as well to be popped straight from the get-go. Bats, the evil bats, as a matter of fact, I believe, to come around on top of that, just to get some early pressure. And as a response, we do get to see the wizard.
Yeah, look, if he may not win the tournament, but I think Wallace is going for the popularity vote at this stage. Wizard and Monk taking to the field for Mo Light. That Skeleton King out in play alongside that Royal Giant. So this is already looking like it's a pretty beefy, beat-down lineup for Wallace.
Yeah, Wallace looking to do quite a fair bit of damage. The Fisherman as well to lure the opposition right into the crossfire between the two Cannoneer towers. That's another victim that does fall. And I mean, the Royal Giant is putting in the absolute work, I have to say, you know, pushing through all the defenses for Mohamed Light. This could be very much of a wake-up call in the early stages of it.
Evo Wizard out, and unfortunately the Fisherman going to sign his own death warrant there. Pulls him in. Skeleton King deployed on the bridge, and the Electro Wizard coming out as well in response from Wallace as he looks to start his push. The Fisherman out to try and deny. And this is where Mohamed Light could start to mount his own momentum push. Fisherman again, pulling more and more of these key units with Wallace into the danger zone.
Yeah, the Fisherman is going to be quite a key figure in the lineup, I have a feeling. Looking at the overall lineup for Wallace, though, I am buying a very interesting pick that we yet got to see, and that is Electro Wizard to maybe do some work here as well, on top of the absolutely heavy hitting lineup like you highlighted before, Panda. And now it's a full-on all-out brawl about to happen just about on the bridge on the right side of the lane.
Looking to dump all they possibly can into this fight. The Royal Giant distracting the Knights at the moment, or the Guards rather, at the moment. Barb's trying to threaten. This Fisherman is just doing absolute work for Mohamed Light right now. Keeping him well in contention. He's not out of it just yet, but I think in all honesty, Wallace might just have himself the round that he's looking for.
Exactly so. Already the health advantage is in the hands of Wallace, so he might just be able to get the first claim on the round for himself. But as it stands, the countdown starting to go down. We just did say that before, but the crown does fall 3 seconds before the round finishes up. Mohamed Light concludes it all in what a phenomenal fashion, I have to say. A much cleaner victory here in a much more dominant fashion as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Mo Light at the end of the day. What can you really say? The man gets it done when it needs to be done, and he takes himself the 2-0 here over Wallace. Unfortunate. Look, like I said, Wallace will win the community vote off of that player cam. I guarantee you it. Unfortunately, he did not win the match, though.
Yeah, there was definitely a few good highlights for some of the pushes that Wallace did manage to pull out. I mean, the ability to stack the Skeleton King with a number of the plays as well, on top of the Electro Wizard pick as well, certainly had the potential, but unfortunately, things did not pan out too well for Wallace there.
Well, it's time to go to a quick break. On the other side, more Clash Royale World Tour action coming your way. We'll be right back.
Introducing the new and improved LetsPlay.Live. New look, new feel, new tournaments. Play and compete in dozens of esports tournaments from Open Division to Pro. Check out our new platform at LetsPlay.Live. Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console, and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live. Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live.
Coming back from the break, and we've seen our first 2 upper bracket matches. Cthulhu, I mean, what are your thoughts so far through this bracket?
Oh, look, I mean, we got to see some absolute masterclasses in terms of the pressure management, really. Both on the side of Riley and Mohamed Light, we got to see some absolutely stunner performances there. Not to discredit either Rin or Wallace as well in terms of their efforts, but unfortunately for them, it is the lower bracket to be deciding their real fate in this case, really. But otherwise, yeah, look, upper bracket has definitely delivered so far.
I mean, yeah, getting first rounded in the upper and lower bracket for Sandbox is not quite where we thought he would be, but the player that knocked him out of the tournament will be taken on Wallace, who we did just see in that last upper bracket matchup, having been taken down 2-0 by Mo Light. And let's jump into that matchup, because let's see just how Wallace is going to fare in this lower bracket, taking on Samuel. I wonder, you know, after that matchup, what has Wallace got the tag? I mean, look, the player cams got very interesting after that first game. I don't. What do you reckon? Is it all psychological warfare, maybe?
Oh, surely it had to be the psychological warfare. Honestly, I mean, you go for a little bit more lounged. You don't really, you know, pay as much of an attention to your opponent. You know, you keeping it in your own comfort zone, and for that matter, really, this does sort of enforce a little bit more of a stronger, I guess, aura. Call it to a certain degree, but as it stands, yeah, look, for Wallace, he's shown some good signs of life, I'd say, in his matchup against Mohamed Light. So going into the lower bracket, I will be surprised if he will bow out of this competition with a 2-0 conclusion.
Well, we'll have to see. It was a 2-0 in that last matchup, and I mean, Samuel did take down Sandbox, who he's one of the highest rated players in this. Well, was one of the highest rated players in this competition. Unfortunately, no longer. He is. He's made a quick departure, unfortunately. But I mean, going into this matchup, I think Wallace, it was a 2-0. You probably have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder and something to prove coming into this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's quite a fair bit of things to really prove, I'd have to say. But look, now would be the time. Now will be the time to really pull that off, because otherwise, I mean, lower bracket run is already dangerous as it is. Every single loss gets you just closer and closer to that elimination within the BO3. And then the moment the BO3 concludes and you're not in, or rather on the favorable side, and well, that's GG basically for you for the whole competition and the whole weekend basically done and dusted for you here. So regardless, yeah, lower bracket just in general going to be very much of a land of heartbreaks here.
I mean, it always is. You no longer have that safety net that you did in the upper bracket. So, yeah, it's that mental fortitude coming into this lower bracket, because, you know, do you play it safe? Do you second? Sometimes you end up second guessing yourself. Do you play too conservative? But as we jump into it, Samuel Basotto taking on Wallace in this matchup, and already those Goblin Spearmen coming through, looking to be aggressive. Both players, in fact, dropping them to start.
Exactly that. Now, to add things up to the whole pile, the bats, the evil bats, as a matter of fact, to come on through, as well as that. I believe that's a Copper Barrel as well, to come in crushing at the opposition, and the Skeleton King as well to come on through. So this is going to be a very much of a heated competition as well.
Giant Skeleton is working its way on through. That mine cutting deep as well. Looking to try and chip away, and it's getting some great damage out here at the moment. Samuel Basotto looking to try and establish some dominance, and unfortunately give Wallace similar treatment to what he experienced, what his previous opponent experienced.
Absolutely. So yeah, that early damage is going to be very much of a problem. The cannon cart as well will be doing just the absolute work here, and well, whilst the bats will be able to chip away at the mobility of the said cart, it's still going to be the one to chew up quite a fair bit of damage, but the Skeleton King is the one to really come in with a rampage.
And he's chipping. He's taking so much priority away, destroying so much aggro right now, and it really has been a battle with the Skeleton Kings at the moment. Defensive miner coming through, trying to stop him as well. I mean, look, in terms of what could be done, it's a little bit dicey there for Wallace in the remainder of this tournament, potentially.
Certainly so. Arrows do coming in to try to delay any sort of push, but yeah, as it stands, 161 HP for the left tower is certainly a problem and a half. The bats will be there to also deal quite a fair bit of damage to the right tower, and it definitely looks like Paul Wallace already called it a day for the round 1 with a good game. 48 seconds though, there's still an opportunity here and there to really make the play, make the effort, but yeah, the Skeleton King certainly is going to be looking to march onwards.
We haven't even seen the full depth of Wallace's deck at the moment. There we go, can cut.
There it is.
Second to last. Play. He's going to slow push it at the moment.
30 seconds left.
Response, and yeah, they're just going to look to try and dump on in. Both players looking to get last minute utility out, but I think for the moment Samuel is looking like the dominant force in this matchup, having already claimed that one tower. Look, Wallace is, I think, leaving a little bit to be desired here.
Yeah, it would take a severe fumble for Wallace to make a comeback in this very round, and yeah, definitely quite a bit of a downhill turnaround really for Wallace, considering how close the very first matchup of of his run on the broadcast was. And unfortunately, well, now things are not looking particularly too swell out here for him. For Samuel, though, this is a perfect start, though. No real dangers were really faced out there. Very much of a straightforward game from him. Good overall pressure, good ability to sort of gatekeep any sort of major damage to come his way. And yeah, the initial battle of the Skeleton Kings certainly was quite a sight to behold.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued given that, I mean, Samuel coming into this matchup, he already in the low break. Yeah, look, to be fair, he has eliminated Sandbox already, so I suppose there is at least a little bit of respect should be paid to his name, but you're looking at Wallace coming into this, well, maybe not the front runner in terms of overall favourites. You'd expect him to be looking a little bit cleaner, I would imagine.
Yeah, certainly there was somewhat of an expectation for Wallace to come on out. And we're looking, I mean, at the overall tower damage. Funnily enough, average elixir has been actually very much the same between Samuel and Wallace. It's just unfortunately, in terms of the actual damage that came through, things did not look as peachy for him as for Samuel. And I mean, that pressure, the ability to just keep maintaining the that damage output has been absolutely phenomenal, and the pokes as well with the bats were just the right way, honestly.
Yeah, look, I mean, whatever the case may be, Samuel is, a battle between two Brazilians, it can be tough. I mean, yeah, look, it's hard to sort of stand out and thrive against someone who you regularly play against, and as you would expect for two Brazilians, they probably run into each other quite often. So, yeah. That is, I mean, how often have we seen at international competition, a favourite coming into a tournament only to get, upset by someone from their own region who just knows them that much more?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you look at some of the previous records as well for Samuel, and I mean, there's a few of the fourth and first places do shine through as well, so definitely still a fairly star-studded record there to go for Samuel to rock with. But as we do begin the initial battle, it does seem like the contention between the Bandit and the Royal Ghost was the initial key.
Fisherman again, just yanking Samuel's units into range of those cannoneers. And I mean, we're seeing a lot of utility out of the Fisherman already today on broadcast. And I mean, we haven't seen the Suspicious Bush yet, but it was being played before things got kicked off live. So, I mean, there is all sorts that is being thrown in.
Curious to see that Samuel is actually bringing in double power up in terms of the Void and the Zap as well to rock on with the overall AoE damage. Becca, though, that might be that big heavy hitter that is needed.
Yeah, that Royal Giant is making some good progress to Samuel's half of the arena. He's going to lose some big HP on that right-hand turret. Phoenix coming through, but it's just answered. It's answered well too. So far, Wallace, maybe he heard us talking a little bit of smack on him because he's looking a lot cleaner right now.
Oh yeah, that initial damage to the right tower definitely did just the right work. I mean, I'm still questioning a few of the choices here for Samuel's deck choice, but as it stands, Yeah, look, Wallace was able to find the response. The Wizard does come on in. Fireball as the final card for Wallace's run. Spirit as well to pop one through. So there's going to be a few interesting matchups here and there, but the Cannoneer Towers should be able to still preserve majority of the momentum.
It's a slow roll for both Phoenix and the Packer for Wallace and Samuel respectively. The log coming through, push that Packer just a little bit further back. Evo Wizard to come out as well to deal with this Phoenix and Royal Ghost. The Fisherman, that's the pull you're looking for. Get the Packer into range of both Cannoneers. You can start to chip away at this front line that Samuel has. You can see there's a lot of momentum coming out of the front line. The Ram Raider, the Evo Wizard there as well. And they're going to start dishing out punishment of their own. We're still in live stage at the moment. We haven't even hit overtime, and all of a sudden, Wallace, that momentum shift has been a little bit brutal.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was very quick. The moment the grip was eased away within the last, once again, 10 to 8 seconds is where things definitely looked very dire for Wallace, and unfortunately, no ability to respond whatsoever. And Samuel, I mean, what a play! There's a reason that man managed to slay one of the top performers, that is Sandbox, right in the first round as well.
Yeah, look, Wallace, I think. On the whole, the argument can be made that it's a rather disappointing showing from him. But Samuel, I mean, look, he's taken out Sandbox. Mo may not be in the lower bracket, but Samuel is definitely embodying his spirit there at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Samuel definitely showing the reason why he's been able to push some of the closest score lines as well back on some of the previous competitions. And, I mean, what a turnaround. Looking back at the deck one as well, Samuel, like we highlighted before as well, the ability to poke was just absolutely otherworldly. I mean, between the Spear Goblins, between the Bats, the Miner, the Skeleton King as well, things were definitely looking really, really favorable for him there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that is Wallace's run in the tournament. He knocked out in the lower bracket by Samuel, a fellow countryman out of Brazil. And, well, look, I mean, that's two pretty big scalps for Samuel to take. And I think, look, he was probably sitting quite comfortable after taking Sandbox out. And he's probably sitting even more comfortable now, having knocked out Wallace as well. This is looking like it's going to be a pretty solid lower bracket run for him.
Yeah, Samuel definitely showing that he would be the next person to really put a bit of a dent onto many people's performances, whoever does end up getting dropped down into the lower bracket. But even for him, that is still far from being overrun. I mean, he's still very much at large in the danger zone of being eliminated. So that lower bracket run is going to be still very crucial. So each and every step by step, take it one moment at a time would be the key approach for the man, just to allow himself a little bit more breathing room, a little bit more of a mental sort of endurance as well in that case.
Yeah, I mean, look, standing the test of the lower bracket is always a tough one. Sam has proven that he can do that, but he's not the only one here in the lower bracket. That's the truth of the matter, Cthulhu. There are a number of players who are looking to make that lower bracket run, and unfortunately only one of them can obviously book that rematch into that grand final. So, look, I know that there's a lot of hungry players at the moment in terms of, who could take that spot. But going into our next matchup, Marta taking on Rin. I mean, look, it's going to be an interesting one. I know that much, especially what we saw. I mean, Rin looked like he was going to potentially pull a comeback out of the works, but was unable to. And unfortunately, same could be said for Marta at this stage.
Yeah, for Marta as well, though, the man was able to actually get himself quite a few of the first places previously as well, whether it's through JKR League as well, whether it's through Dragon League Season 3 of this year as well in the Last Chance Qualifier tournament. So there's been a few of the opportunities for Marta to really make that play happen. And yeah, look, against Rin, this might be his matchup to win, but Rin still managed to show us that he has quite a fair bit of the I guess powder in the kegs there to really keep the show running.
Yeah, I mean, standing toe-to-toe with a player like Mohamed Light is a pretty tough prospect at the best times, let alone in a competition where there is genuine money and potentially qualification to play for our World Champs on the line. We're looking to start things off early. Well, goblins galore. it seems, as we are just going to play a bit of goblin tennis.
Yeah, like a bit of goblin tennis. Not really. A bit of the mortar action as well to keep things running, but stands neither of the players are, well, letting out the full potential just yet, but finally we do get to see the full-on push to start on coming through, courtesy of the Goblin Gang.
Look, they send it on down. Ren, he's looking to start putting players, units to work, and there you go. Skeleton King for both sides out. Miner making its appearance as well. So far, I mean, a lot of similarities in setup. The Phoenix as well coming on through to try and swing that momentum back. Skeletal Dragon's the answer for Marty, it seems.
Yeah, this might actually work out quite well. The Skeleton Dragons as well, putting in quite a fair bit of work. Still are untouched and will be able to still dish out quite a fair bit of damage before they do go down to the Cannoneer Towers. And as it stands, the bats may just provide that extra bit of poke as well. The mortars as well doing a bit of work. In comes another shell, and that is a hefty amount of damage.
Just looking at just the punishment. Ren, not out of it just yet, but definitely looking like he's a bit under the pump. Both players trying to figure out what the game plan is, and there you go. Goblins out, the Spearman coming to bed. Skeleton King deployed in response aggressively from Ren. There it is answered with yet another, and there you go. Evo Mortis. Just, like I said, goblin tennis, essentially.
Yeah, very much so. Finally, Rin is able to deal some damage as well to some of the towers of Mata as well, so it's not all over yet. Matter of fact, a lot of heavy damage that just came in. And, well, it would have been all great if the fact that some more pressure has been now applied to Rin's right tower too. So in terms of the differential for the HP, things are not looking particularly great. A few more pokes for the right tower, and that is it. That is the first round concluded in favor of Mata.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's looking for. 14 seconds to try and even the odds here for Rin. But you look at the setup, it's not overtly aggressive for Mark. He doesn't want to lose that momentum, and he should be able to walk away in this first round. Yeah, not even going to get close, unfortunately. And, well, we will have to go to overtime to figure it out. You can see, though, Marty's looking to brew something here. That cannon cart with the Mortar Phoenix getting dealt with in that egg. Shut down as well. And there you go, he's just starting to pile on the forces.
Yeah, the Mortar does get deployed as well on a relatively more of a defensive setup as well. The Skeleton Dragons as well are out to get the damage going. The poison is there to also apply more pressure to the tower too, and prevent any further deployment as well to stem that bleeding. But as it stands, a huge war body coming around to try to shut down that tower, and in fact it will be.
Wow, yeah, look, it just hit that tipping point, and all of a sudden Marta had the units in the position that he needed them to be to finally knock that tower over and get that first crown. Look, it was rather contentious, I think, for the majority of that run, and there were just a few key moments that went Marta's way, and Ren just couldn't quite answer back.
No, not at all, yeah. At the moment, Mata really managed to really mount that initial pressure to get the sub 1k damage, or rather sub 1k HP pool for the right tower. That was basically done and dusted, and I mean, we're looking at the overall tower damage basically twice, 2 times off what Rin managed to output, given that the average elixir usage was in a relatively similar space as well.
Yeah, I mean, just that recyclability.
Yeah.
Meant that Marta, and again, like I said, it came down to a few key moments where Marta just had units in the right places to sort of shift that momentum in his favour, and unfortunately Ren, whether it was miscalculation on his part, whatever the case may be, it allowed Marta to get the lead that he needed to secure victory in that first round.
Oh yeah, perfect play. And I mean, the absolute ability of just the units that were sent over to just go for that shove, go for the full-on send. You know, the Skeleton King being backed up by a number of different units as well to be able to just to be able to push through the initial set of defenses to get the poke going. Definitely did the right amount of damage, right amount of work, and well, granted that first round win out of the BO3.
Yeah, and I mean, in this matchup, again, you're in the lower bracket. You don't have that safety net, so everything that you do bring to bear is going to have to bear fruit. Otherwise, yeah, that second life is no longer available to you. You're eliminated from the tournament. But I mean, is that also that little bit of extra concern? You've got these players who are still in the upper bracket, who you still may have to face further down the line, who will be watching and keeping a very close eye on what decks you're playing, you know, how you're looking to approach this tournament. So you sort of got to balance it at this stage.
Yeah, balance is certainly going to be quite the key here in terms of how you manage your aggression, because the moment you start using the very similar strategies as well, this will be very much the end of the run, as well as, well, the counterplay is very much heavy and at large here in the competition here today at the LPL World Tour. So yeah, look, all things considered, for Rin right now, this is the do or die situation, really.
Yeah, I mean, back against the wall, you lose this, you're out of the tournament. Marta will be the one that progresses through that lower bracket. So, look, maybe creative isn't the right direction to go, I think, in terms of this this second round, but definitely something that maybe, you know, play a little bit more comfortably for yourself as we look to jump into round 2. Well, Marta pulled it out with some big clutch shoves. Can he do it again here to take the 2-0, or will Rin answer it back? That's what we're here to find out.
See how that really piles on. Neither of the sides really get to showcase just yet what we have. The guard does get to come out in full force and full swing, and in return, well, the little prince does make the appearance, plus the zap.
Yeah, look, it was something. It was something. That's certainly the case. And, well, here comes the monk to try and shut it down. Pedro, the wizard. Yeah, look, that pressure is pretty quickly alleviated. Onto the Phoenix. This is tower. Deep Royal Ghost. I mean, so far, a lot of this, the start of this round has been just sort of trying to figure out what the game plan is from their opponent. We saw how long they took to get units out onto the board.
Yeah. For Rin, this is a very excellent beginning to the overall run. Getting that extra poke, the E-Spirit as well to, get that one extra poke as well as that on the main throne too. Would be absolutely perfect. Rage come on through as well as that the Phoenix on the left lane plus the little prince. Not going to be enough to get that extra poke. Yep, sure will be.
Chip damage, if nothing else, but that lead still going the way of Ren in terms of damage dealt at the moment. The guard out once again. It's going to be answered. Phoenix there just chipping away, and the Royal Ghost follows it up. Monk there to target the egg, just gives a little bit extra damage to the Royal Ghost, but it's not enough. It's the Monk. He's a pretty hefty unit. And Evo Wizard drops deep behind the tower for Ren, looking to gear up for a slow push.
In the meantime as well, the Mega Knight does get dropped in with a full send. First time I believe we do get to see the 7 cost character to make the appearance here on the broadcast tonight, and on top of that, the Ram Raider as well to come on out. Should make things quite rather spicy. Little Prince trying to hold off the overall push, plus the Royal Ghost. They do make an excellent team, and that does look like the comp lineup that will be making the heavy hitter damage.
Yeah, I mean, they might have stacked it very, very nicely with the Fishman in, pulling that Mega Knight in, trying to clear things out. Wow, I mean, it was very well played. Decent damage out there from Marta, but will alleviate that pressure for the moment and allow Ren to stack up a little bit more in terms of elixir in the output. Phoenix about to meet the Evo Wizard. Again, you just look at the way that Marta is stacking his pressure. That slow burn towards the bridge is working time and time again for him. It's not huge damage, but it's consistent damage.
Oh yeah, consistency is going to be key here. The Royal Giant though is going to make the march towards the right tower, and the Mega Knight looking to make some plays happen, but as it stands, it's the Fisherman that makes a big play. A lot of damage dealt here to Mata's right tower as well, and well, from here on out, there's now the chance for Rin to make the big comeback. The Royal Giant as well, once again, to come through Phoenix to try to stem the bleeding, but as it stands, a lot of pressure right now going on to Mata, and it looks like Rin might be able to inch away one more round in his favor.
Oh. Yeah, look, he's got the advantage there. The minute 20 though. Is he going to have enough to finish off that tower, or will Martin mounting a comeback of his own? Mega Knight in, Monk trying to deny, but the Ram Raider hooked at the last second by the Fisherman. Just pulled off the tower, will get a bit of damage out, but not quite as much as he thought. 82, 24 HP to work with that right tower, and it's finished. The Royal Giant just plugging away, and it will be a much needed round victory there for Rin.
Once again, a very similar trend here for Rin being set. First round to be lost, second round to be won with a much more convincing victory. Now, the question being is, will the consistency stay here for Rin? Will he be able to still continue his run, the overall pressure, and just the overall performance? I mean, we're looking at the stats as well. A much closer contention in terms of the damage output, as well as that the cycle ability is just better from Rin by only a point.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of decent pushes, or at least appeared decent pushes there from Marta, but unfortunately the Fisherman plays spoiler on a number of them.
Yeah, that Fisher
it is already paying out its elixir's worth on the battlefield.
Absolutely, yeah, that was a phenomenal choice. The amount of times that Fisherman saved. I mean, the Mega Knight was looking like the big solution there for Mata to make the play happen, to make the just, you know, the be-all end-all sort of solution for whatever troubles that he had. But yeah, the Fisherman was just the key defense there for the play. Look, yeah, that it worked in spades. The Cannoneer Towers as well, being able to dish out that punishment, were also quite key as well, to be able to deliver the punishment onto the Mega Knight to keep him down. And I think that was basically the main bet from Matea, really, to get the Mega Knight going. And it looked like it on paper was the right way, but unfortunately he did not account for the Fisherman being just that good.
Yeah, I mean, look, you put all your eggs in the one basket. That win condition needs to come through for you, and if your opponent has figured out a way to cripple that win condition, it can be a bit frustrating. So, I mean, look, going to map 3, it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. It was, like, a couple of moments where it looked a little bit dicey for both sides, but each of them pick up a round win. And we're forced into, well, I say forced, I'm glad to be here. We're on to another deciding matchup in our best of 3 format. And you always love to see it at this stage. It just raises that stake that much higher, especially considering we're down in the lower bracket.
Yeah, every single loss here is going to be very much counted. And every single one of those losses is going to be a heartbreak as well. Because contrary to what we've seen back at the upper bracket run, for this one, the moment you lose, that's it. That's GG. It's over. A weekend you get to clock out. And on top of that as well, not really a whole heck of a lot of points, nor the prize money either. So, yeah, things could definitely be looking a bit dicey here going into the round 3. And no matter how you look at it, it is going to be a heartbreak. If Rin bows out here, well, look, a lot of the potential from this player to come out, but unfortunately not much of it has been, you know, thoroughly realized, whereas you look at Matea as well. A lot of the opportunities are there, and the Serbian representative is a very talented one while statted. The amount of pressure that he has, the amount of the ability to change up and switch up some of the strats as well, has been absolutely phenomenal. But unfortunately, if he does bow out here, that's it for the experiments, really.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely did see that, you know, the mind games playing sort of an element in terms of how both these rounds have gone. Just sort of stalling, sort of figuring out what the opening move is from their opponents. And I mean, it has made for some drawn-out games. It's going to be interesting to see if we see that pacing change up, if we go for a bit of a blitz approach to this third round, try and speed things up and catch their opponents off guard. But, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, in a situation like that, it has just as much likelihood of being a detriment to yourself.
Absolutely so. But, well, in we go for the round 3. Good luck, have fun to both sides. And neither, once again, are too keen on really showcasing their plays, apart from that zap, just to, you know, get a bit of a cheeky initial tap.
Yeah, just testing the waters. Knights out from Marta to start things off, but the Inferno Dragon response. Ridden looking to slow push that right-hand side, but Marta says, you know what, we're going to send the Goblin Drill in. To answer it back with a Valkyrie as well. So, Marta looking to play off the front foot a little bit, and Rin says, okay, cool, I'm happy to meet that Lava Hound out as well.
Yeah, that Lava Hound and the Inferno Dragon is going to be an absolute pain to really deal with. And I mean, that is a lot of punishment that could come out of that Lava Hound as well.
Lava pops out, and I mean, look, it's fairly impressive damage as the Tombstone is dropped as well. Red looking very, very comfortable at the moment in terms of the opening salvo, but the executioner comes through paired with the Goblin Drill. That right-hand side cops a bit of punishment.
Fair few of the heavy hitters brought out by Mata here. Certainly should imply some very big pushes. The guards as well could be the big choice here. And I mean, looking at the overall damage numbers already, 1669 HP for the right tower for Rin, and certainly wouldn't be the most exciting of the prospect. Once again, the Lava Hound does get brought out for the slow burner, but this time not yet backed up by anyone else. Pardon me, Inferno Dragon either. Neither the Valkyrie, and so instead we do get the response of the Tower plus the Executioner as well, but the Void should do just about enough damage.
Oh no, the Tornado just pulls them back out of range of that tower. The poison dropped as well, spell heavy.
Ooh.
For the side of Marta is looking to try and
damage.
mess it through, but look at the damage, yeah. Lava Hound, Inferno Dragon combo is paying out dividends for Rin here as he takes the first out.
Absolutely phenomenal turnaround. That Void as well is doing some absolute work here, mincing away at all the reinforcements. Dire attempt to try to distract a few of the, approaches a few of the players, and it seems like it is doing quite a fair bit of damage, but the Skeleton Dragons are the ones to be responded on. Poison as well, getting a few ticks here and there, and shouldn't be able to get anywhere closer, and in fact that won't be the case. Valkyrie as well to boot. But as it stands, 10 seconds to go. This will be a very dire run.
Goblin Drill deep, but 7 seconds left. There's not enough time. Sends out the guards with the Tornado. Last second is not going to be enough. And yeah, look, Marta, despite a valiant start, reverse swept out. Rin playing very, very well, having been knocked down here by Mohamed Light. He wants to prove that it was just a one-off. He wants to prove that he can fight with the top dogs.
Absolutely, yeah. Rin gets to keep his run here, whereas for Mata, this is the end of the run for him here, unfortunately for him. And that is going to be continuing the unfortunate turnaround here for Mata, as the last few runs did leave him in some of the more further positions really on the leaderboard. So as it stands here, GG, well played. Rin did some absolutely phenomenal job. And I mean, looking at that last game as well, this was just an absolute solid turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, look, Rin looking fairly comfortable. And all said and done. So, look, I don't see any reason why he couldn't carry it on.
Yeah, absolutely. Overall overview showing that there were a few very valiant turnarounds. And I mean, remembering, pointing out the double AoE damage that came through from Mata and began the unfortunate sort of downfall of the player. Some of the more rather unconventional choices, and stacking all the eggs in one basket to bring out the Mega Knight as well. Things did not pan out quite well for the Serbian representative.
Absolutely. My mistake. I had it wrong. I got the matches mixed up. It was Riley versus Rin. Okay, look, it happens. Sometimes we get things a little bit wrong. But no, it was Wallace versus Mohamed Light. Right now, though, it's time for another quick break. On the other side, we look to carry on things down here in the lower bracket. We'll see you back in a bit.
Introducing the new and improved LetsPlay.Live. New look, new feel, new tournaments. Play and compete in dozens of esports tournaments from Open Division to Pro. Check out our new platform at LetsPlay.Live.
Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console, and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live. Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live.
Coming back from the break, we look to carry on the lower bracket run. It has been an interesting one at that. Some players that we expected to do a little bit better, looking a little bit lackluster, and some that we weren't really expecting much of. Cthulhu really stepping up and putting on a show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, from Rin, a bit of a return to form in just the previous matchup that we got to see before the break. Samuel as well, managing to really take out his opponent, that is Wallace, in a lower bracket. And up next, funnily enough, it is, well, up next for them, it is going to be a matchup against each other. Samuel versus Rin is going to be quite a heater later down the line. And look, overall, I'm keen to see how the rest of the lower bracket really progresses, because so far this has been quite a fair bit of a heater competition.
Yeah, I mean, jumping into our next lower bracket match in just a moment, Pedro taking on Adriel down here. It spells an opportunity for, another one of these lads from SK Callasas to really, Callasas, to come through and make a name for themselves. I mean, they're sort of representing themselves incredibly well in Clash Royale at the moment, but in terms of what we could expect, a matchup between, someone playing out of the Dominican Republic and Brazil rather, a South American matchup could be an interesting one.
Oh yeah, South American Derby has always been an absolute stunner of a turnaround, really, to bear witness no matter which competition you do get to see. But we look at the overall records as well for Pedro. He did manage to actually score himself a couple of the first places in the recent days, whereas on the side of Adriel as well, things for the majority of it, third places, fifth places for the most of it shine through, albeit still nonetheless managed to really net himself a first place at the Supremacy League and a few of the other tournaments as well for this year. So the competition should be much closer now that we are going slightly further in both the upper and the lower bracket, as the competition should be now mounting in full force.
Yeah, at this stage you're getting a little bit more tense. Things are starting to get a little bit more concerning. The more bottlenecks in that lower bracket, the higher the stakes, the more risk of things going askew, the risk of those mistakes being punished more heavily becomes a real concern. Going into this matchup, I think it's safe to say both players have the opportunity to really step up. It just, I think more than likely, as we jump into things, comes down to how much prep has been done.
Yeah, very much prep is going to be key. Both players do know each other. Both have played for similar orgs as well. So see how this will really pan out for matchup itself. No real deployments just yet, as we are waiting for some of the surprise maybe attacks to come on through. And well, first things first, it's the guards.
Yeah. Getting out nice and early with the Fisherman. Looking to do exactly what the Fisherman's been doing all day, and that is play spoiler. Slow burn Monk. Okay, to head up that right-hand lane and meet the Fisherman. The Monk of his own, the answer from Pedro.
Yeah, Monk should do quite a lot of damage here as well. Backed up, though, on the other side by a Wizard, things will be looking rather promising here for Adriel to actually get the initial momentum going. But as I say, both Monks are in a bit of a conundrum, and the initial shutdown of Adriel's Monk does result in a very, very early push in favor of Pedro, potentially.
Barrel to the bridge to clear out that Wizard. Unfortunately, he's going to look straight in and become cannon fodder. Royal Giant from both sides. Slow burn behind the King's Tower. Looking to try and gear themselves up for that push. And you can see both players very deep in thought about this.
Yeah, still very much curious about what can be done. The early and very up-close deployment of the guards as well to try to conserve the HP of the Royal Giant, who possibly is the key solution here as well. The Wizard to come on through as well for some of the play, but once again, it's Fisherman that ends up being the clutch master.
Well, yeah, the Fisherman really is. He's just absolutely playing spoiler. Decent damage out of Adriel. Dominican Republic, that Electro Spirit, and the Fisherman of his own. And Answer will pull Pedro's in. Get him nice and close to the tower. Now, I mean, it's a great start here to the round for Adriel as we get to 40 seconds of overtime. But is that enough to secure him the victory?
Barrel as well is there to potentially shut down the push, but this is a big shot to come out from Pedro as well to hopefully get some sort of momentum going. Fisherman as well to poke a few of the enemies out, and the Evil Wizard as well to hopefully hold off the pressure, hold off the push. Is that going to be enough, though, is the main question. As you said, the timer is starting to run low. The sudden death is going to be well upon us, but Adriel already done so much damage.
It may not matter. It may not matter. That Royal Giant is going to be hooked in by the Fisherman. And that last 65 damage, not going to be enough. And the Fireball is going to be just there in the last second. And that is a very, very impressive round from Adriel.
What a turnaround. Yeah, look, Adriel, I gotta say, I was a little bit skeptical about the initial beginnings of him in the early stages of the round, but boy, he turned up the heat there closer to the conclusion of it. And yeah, that damage, that consistent damage was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you look at that difference as well. 4,250 damage in comparison to 586 from Pedro as well. So yeah, look, rough turnaround considering the elixir economy has been very much the same here.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of cycling, it was pretty clean from Adriel. All said and done. He played that. Look, I mean, like I said, both players seem very deep in thought. I mean, they're both representing the same org, so either way, it will be SK Kalalassis moving through the bracket. But I mean, look, unfortunately, there has to be a winner, there has to be a loser in these situations. And if we carry on that momentum, it looks like it might be Adriel, but I get that feeling that Pedro's not done just yet.
True that. Albeit, I would say probably Adriel at the moment does seem to be ready to go. Basically, well, straight from the get-go. That early domination was definitely one of those sort of a bit of a tilt, a bit of a soul crusher, really, maybe even. But I mean, the overall management of the economy and the characters that were deployed was absolutely phenomenal. That fireball as well at the end was a bit of a salt on the injury as well. So yeah, look. I do smell a bit of a cheeky 2-0 to come out here, but yeah, we've seen some turnarounds. We've seen some reverse sweeps as well. So maybe Pedro is not yet ready to back out just yet.
Look, I wouldn't count your phoenixes before they hatch, if I'm being honest here in this situation. Once again, slow start to the round. Both players trying to figure out what the game plan is. Not wanting to make that first move and risk being countered. There you go. Mortar out to start. The answer is the Tesla Tower. It's going to be a battle across the river.
That's a
Building
perfect
Royale.
solution for this as well. The Tesla Tower will be the perfect counter here for the mortars as well, and early deployment for the Spear Goblin is going to be quite key here as well.
Skeleton King there to back them up. Spearman just trying to stall things out, but the Ice Spirit, the response is to draw attention. The Mighty Miner as well. Right now, Pedro is doing everything he can to shift that momentum, but the bats coming through. Going to make this a little bit tougher than I think he anticipated.
Yeah. Demolisher as well to boot. Going to make things a bit more problematic to really deal with, as the cannon cart is looking to try to get rid of the Demolisher before any sort of damage is being dealt, and that is a perfect opportunity. The mortar does get set up. Tesla Tower is there to attempt to prevent the push from happening, and a lot of damage being dealt, but, well, Tower will fall, so there's still one more opportunity for the shot to go, but Log will be preventing that as well. Overall, I gotta say, Pedro is managing his resources really well here, and overall pressure has been great, but the overall play in terms of poke from Adriel has been actually quite formidable as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not huge numbers, but it's numbers, and they're consistent. Again, consistency is key. The Goblin Demolisher going to be triggered there. Look, unfortunate for Adriel, and it's decent damage out from Pedro, and that can be the difference maker. Even Mortar as well is trying to, and again, just hinder Pedro's progress, not allow any more follow-up damage. But the Log is going to keep that chip going. In terms of HP differential, Pedro does have it, but again, both players are making traction. Unfortunately, it's not sustained traction.
Not at all, yeah. You can see on the camera of Adriel as well, man is not particularly happy about the overall turnaround here. The pressure's starting to mount. 30 seconds remaining as well, as the push about to come to shove, and well, the Mighty Miner as well is being deployed.
This is where things get a little bit dicey. The Tesla Tower out with the poison to Pedro
as well.
He knows that he may have just done enough to sort of carry it on over, but when the answer back, we head to overtime in just a moment. Pedro seems to be getting more opportunities here.
A Demolisher block as well. The deployment of him right in the middle did manage to draw in the fire from both sides just to delay before the overtime kicked in. So this actually was a 100 million IQ move there from Pedro, but it may not matter, because right now the damage that came in just flying into one of his towers may be a big problem as well, and well, even more chip damage coming around. Sub 2k HP for the left tower. This tower doesn't mean the last wave as it stands. Look here, with the poison going, this might be the opportunity for Pedro to make his move instead as well.
Skeleton King, look at the work that's out the right hand side. The Mighty Miner is there and arms. The cannon cart dealt with, and the Log to follow it up. Bats coming out as well. So it is just sort of throwing fodder in the way to try and hinder this push coming out. Skeleton King's going to stay alive. The Bat's there. It's minimal damage that does in the end make it through, but it is enough to tip the scale in favor of Adriel once again. But with a minute left in overtime, it might just come down to the full demo of a tower.
Goblin Drill as well was there to halt the initial approach. The Demolisher as well coming in to make the damage happen, but as it stands, both of the towers are still very much well within the 2k HP bracket, whereas on the side of Pedro, yeah, the towers are not looking particularly too healthy either. Demolisher cannot get through either. Mighty Miner as well is going to be the next hope to go there, as well as that the Goblin Drill plus the poison too, so that should be able to get us ticked over well and truly, but the damage will be outweighing so far in favor of Adriel.
Yeah, he's just got it over that line. 20 seconds, so barring a big push here from Pedro. It may not be enough. Adriel may have just done it in two. There you go. Look to try and get that punishment out. Trying to send forces the way of Adriel's towers, and unfortunately, it is not going to be enough for Pedro. It seems as Adriel will take it. Tiebreaker coming to the end of it. Yeah, it was kind of just very obvious there how it was going to go. Adriel, brilliant stuff here.
Phenomenal turnaround, yeah, and perfect 2-0 conclusion really there for that matchup. Unfortunately for Pedro, yeah, things did not pan out really as much as he would have wanted, but for Adriel, this is the continuation of his run. This is where now the real serious games do start coming out. And I mean, that matchup was still nonetheless a fairly close one, a much more poke-heavy run from Pedro, but unfortunately just maybe too thin for the beatdown that was dished out by Adriel.
Yeah, look, just the consistency from Adriel, I think, was the main thing. It wasn't just huge chunks of damage being dished out all the time. It was just consistent little bits chipping away at what Pedro had to work with, and that was it at the end. It came down to the tiebreaker, and Adriel had the advantage because he'd done the work that he needed to.
Very much so, yeah. Adriel definitely did the right workings there. I mean, you're looking at some of his lineups as well. That perfect balance of, you know, a little bit of poke here, a little bit of shove there, but for the most of it, I mean, the fishermen. Once again, I have to highlight the fishermen. They were sort of the big key characters to really be brought on out to really thwart any sort of big push plans.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of toing and froing, but at some point, there is that point of give, and Adriel able to find it. For the most part, Pedro knew what he wanted to do. Unfortunately, it was a matter of timing in the end that really punished him. He couldn't quite find the opening to stack up a push and get the damage out. So, look, it's coming down to a lot of near misses here in the lower bracket.
Oh, yeah. A lot of near misses, and I think this is where the overall pressure will be also now starting to mount further and further. And the question of, you know, the endurance for some of the players, and the overall sort of, the nerves. The nerves are certainly going to be running high the closer we do get to the conclusion of both of the brackets as well, and where some of these losses will sting a whole lot more than those initial ones as well.
Yeah, I mean, the closer you get to that grand final spot, the more it's going to hurt when you miss out, unfortunately. Oh, look, there is, I think, expectations now as we get to the later stages of the bracket, both upper and lower, of course, that those favourites will just continue to rise above and pull out these victories consistently. But, I mean, look, who's to say? Things could change very, very drastically. Carrying on down in the lower bracket, though, heading to our next matchup. One more player will have to head home, unfortunately. But Coco taking on Rainbow in this matchup. Look, I'm excited. You know, APAC, we're from APAC, of course, and it's always great to see APAC representatives coming into it. And Coco, coming out of South Korea, has the potential to really show up for the team. And his opponent, look, Look, I'm excited. Rainbow coming out of Honduras as well. We get to see these interesting countries that you wouldn't necessarily get to expect to see in terms of APAC competition stepping up to the global stage now that we're here for the World Tour.
Absolutely, yeah. The Honduras representative should be able to still give us a bit of a good show here. Albeit, I mean, looking at Coco's record run as well, this gentleman has seen quite a fair bit of action. Not as star-studded as, say, somebody like Adriel, who managed to secure himself in the recent days a few of the first places. But for Coco, there has been a few of the solid pop-ups. The second place at the GKR League in solo phase solo phase 2 day 1. Whereas for our good friend from Honduras, Rainbow, things are still relatively kept unseen.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's had an all right run of it so far through the bracket, but I mean, again, we're seeing these matchups where you're trying to gauge what your opponent's going to be bringing. We've seen some of these matches start a little bit later than some of our earlier ones, where you've had that little bit extra comfort. You kind of know what the game plan is. You're going to stick to it. Where now we're getting to the stage where, like I said, you potentially start to second guess yourself. You're trying to figure out what your opponent's going to open with, and as we jump into it, is it going to be off the rip, an early push? But no, I mean, look, it is okay. All right, Rainbow starting strong. Both players starting with the zap.
Yeah, both decided to say, you know what? No, we will have that an electric handshake. There we go. Nearly fumbled that up, but abandoned to be brought out instead. We did get to see the Prince to be brought out as well as the response. That should be an interesting battle to kick us off.
Absolutely, Prince looking to cut deep. Pecker's going to be there to meet him, just denied. Not far from the tower. Goblin Giant, interesting. I rate it. The Evo Goblin Giant coming through. Phoenix there to try and slow down the Pecker. Royal Ghost as well to stop the Giants.
Heavy hit lineup
out as well. I mean, look, yeah, I think Rainbow realizing that this Goblin Giant could be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So deciding to bust out as many guns as early as possible. And the Void as well to come on through to try to defend the push, but already the damage has been dealt in spades really here for Rainbow's initial setups. But I say that, Coco suffering quite a fair bit of the HP drain, 2094 HP to go, and well, already sub 2k for the right tower of Rainbow, and no response whatsoever.
I mean, that bomber just allowed to get free damage off it. Rainbow looks like he's struggling a little bit here in this matchup. Coco definitely feeling like he's the one in the driving seat. At the very least, he's not easing up.
Yeah, double Prince lineup as well. Have to give kudos to it. There's certain opportunities here to really make a play on the side of Coco to apply that pressure even further. As Sans Picker finally out to rumble, and potentially could be at least one of the ways to solve things down, but so much HP to chew through is going to be a pain for Rainbow to deal with.
Evo was it out, Void, Zap, look, everything. Rainbow throwing all but the kitchen sink, trying to stop this push, but you look at it, 229 HP and a dream up that right-hand lane. The Prince coming to bear, and the Ram Rider as well. The answer back, it's something, but it's not quite enough to even the odds. Either way, like, damage is damage at this stage. Anything is good.
This game indeed. Well, that Ram Raider could mean potential problems later down the line. Becca gets deployed relatively up close to the bridge as well to get that early momentum, but the timer's starting to count down, 10 seconds remaining. There's still going to be an opportunity to get the last final tick, and is that going to be enough? It doesn't look like the time is going to be of the essence here.
That was an opening. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Just as we cross on over to overtime, Coco gets it done. Rainbow, look, ambitious, if nothing else, but look, it wasn't a complete shutout at the very least.
Oh, yeah. No, that was still a really good turnaround from Rainbow. Still a good, hefty amount of damage as well that came out from him, but unfortunately for him, just Coco's damage output was just that much more overwhelming. And yeah, I mean, that difference does speak for itself. 3,500 of the tower damage against just shy of 2k damage does make for a very compelling storyline here as to how did Coco end up coming out on top here against his opponent. But overall, I gotta say, this was, yeah, like you mentioned, Panda, a fairly still well-paced approach from both of the opponents. But I gotta say though, the Goblin Giant definitely made that difference. I have to say that push was quite something to witness, and I believe this is actually the first time on the broadcast that we got to see the Goblin Giant as well.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, everything that Rainbow did felt reactive more than anything. It wasn't like he was the one making those forward plays and forcing Coco to meet him. No, Coco definitely felt like he was the one determining the pacing of that game, and Rainbow, where he found openings were because he'd reacted appropriately and got the advantage that way. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, look, unfortunate loss. Now he goes into the second match off a bit of a reset, minor break. Does he look to try and shift that momentum going into the second round? So we'll have to see as we jump on into it.
Yeah, we go straight from the get-go. Thing beginning to get us kicked off by the heel spirit, just to, you know, show, you know, we'll get some momentum going there. A bit of a poke. Nothing too much, but apart from that, yeah, a monk to be brought out as the initial burner. Is that going to be enough to cause that initial commotion? Because looking at what has been just brought out, maybe some problems later down the line.
Goblin Cage to meet the monk. The Phoenix there to follow it up. So it is a little bit staggered. The Llama Hound as well there for Coco. The cage breaks. The monk going to do decent damage onto the Goblin Cage Goblin, who will just try and walk past the Phoenix. Unfortunately, there's little to nothing you can do in that situation. The Fisherman pulls his way towards the tower, and it will be
very nice.
Decent damage on the whole for Rainbow there to answer back.
Coco, in the meanwhile, with the Lava Hound, just continues to just march on. Poke damage is there, still being able to deal at least some form of damage. The Giant Snowball as well to boot, and the Skeleton Dragons as well to just poke away at Monk's health. And, well, yeah, that's a perfect turnaround of the momentum in favor of Coco, but damage still is there. Rainbow did manage to plant the initial seeds, but you can see the frustration is starting to mount, the annoyance as to how things are going. But 2300 HP for the left tower is nothing to stop that at all. Uh-oh, that's a problem.
Dragging out Lava Hound there as well for the push. What is the response? Bar barrel to try and draw that attention away.
Oh,
no, not quite what they were looking for. And the balloon to follow up. This is going to be huge opening. And yeah, just absolutely demoed there. Coco might take this in two with 58 seconds left, but it is going to be damage onto the King Tower, which, wow, rare that we've seen so far in the broadcast.
Yeah, just a lot of punishment that comes out here from Coco. No remorse whatsoever as well either. Goblin Cage is there to prepare for the play. Infernal Dragon as well to come on through to try to stem the bleeding. But as it stands, unless one of the towers falls in the next 30 seconds, this is going to be GG in favor of Coco.
Yeah, like 25 seconds to try and make a miracle play to even up that tower count. The Royal Giant is there, but not for much longer, and Coco even has pressure up that right-hand lane with the Goblin Cage and Inferno Dragon. Coco, 10 seconds left in this round for Rainbow to try and make something happen. There's just not enough time, not enough elixir, not enough opportunity, not enough units in the world, and Coco will take it to 2-0.
Nicely done. Nice, clean, and concise conclusion here, courtesy of the Korean representative here. Well played. Look, this one was a much more of a decisive turnaround. The moment that we got to see, you know, the Lava Hound, the Infernal Dragon as well, plus the balloon as well to come on in. That was basically the game. That's basically the run, and no other way to really sugarcoat it. The moment that tower fell, it was basically a done deal.
Yeah, it was rough. It really felt like Rainbow was under the pump from the start of that series, and it unfortunately just didn't get any easier for him going into that matchup number 2. So, look, it is what it is. Coco will progress on in that lower bracket to take on Adriel. 4 players left in that lower bracket, and then, of course, 4 in the upper. We have whittled that competition down to half now, Cthulhu.
Indeed. Looking at the damage as well, I mean, that shows, you know, that lineup that Coco brought out, the absolute beatdown lineup that forced Rainbow's set into submission, really does speak the full volume there, really. Whether we look at the damage numbers, whether the average elixir as well, it all spells out just absolute just doom, really.
And I mean, Coco, that first deck with the Goblin Giant and the double princes was, look, it was overwhelming. It felt like for Rainbow, he just couldn't quite make much of it, and he was just reacting where he could. Coco really just did dominate that series.
Yeah, Rainbow certainly felt very much reactive. The second set definitely looked like he tried to take control over the initial pacing, but unfortunately, just too little of the actual responsive damage here. And on the side of Coco, he came in quite prepared. He had the backup for the backup for the backup, and as well the 2 of the AoE attacks were there ready to go. And like I've highlighted before, that Lava Hound plus the Infernal Dragon plus the balloon definitely was the deal breaker.
Yeah, I admit it was towers there 1 second, it was gone the next. We are coming to the end of day 2, but we're not done with, well, day 1 rather, we're not done with matches just yet. We are going to throw it to a quick break, and then we hit the home stretch for our first day of the LPL Clash Royale World Tour. We'll be back soon.
Introducing the new and improved Let's Play.Live. New look, new feel, new tournaments. Play and compete in dozens of esports tournaments from Open Division to Pro. Check out our new platform at Let's Play.Live.
Introducing LPL Tournament Builder. Build your own tournaments for up to 16 participants in 3 easy steps. Choose one of the 53 supported titles across PC, console, and mobile. Select the tournament format and number of participants. Set the prizes for your tournament. It's that simple. Your tournaments, your community, your way. Try LPL Tournament Builder for free today at Let's Play Live. Play for free and win prizes with LPL Showdown, a weekly tournament series at Let's Play Live. Currently available for Brawl Stars and more. Earn LPL points to redeem in the Showcase shop for subscriptions, digital and physical prizes. Subscribers can also win cash prizes and receive double the LPL points. Sign up for free today at Let's Play Live.
Coming back from the break, we're still carrying on here with day one of the LPL Clash Royale World Tour Cthulhu. We head back to the upper bracket for our final 2 matches of day one. And I mean, we've seen the full breadth of what we possibly could, I think, in day one. We've seen a couple of 2-0s, we've seen some 2-1s, some reverse sweeps, we've seen some very impressive play. And looking at it, there you go, Samuel Basotto taking on Ren. And of course, we are seeing Adriel and Coco in that other upper bracket match. But I mean, Samuel Basotto and Ren gearing up to be a rather impressive match given what we've seen so far. I mean, sorry, that's the lower bracket. That's tomorrow. That's, yeah, reading is important. But, you know, in the upper bracket is, in fact, Tart taken on Ian77 and Riley taken on Mohamed Lighton. That's second of the 2 matchups. So, I mean, both of them looking like they could be quite electric.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The Tar versus Ian77 is going to be, I reckon, one of those matches that I reckon could still give us a fair bit of a fire as well to really rock with, just because whilst we know what to expect from the other 2 contestants between Riley and Mohamed, this one should be an interesting one to watch, looking at the overall battle counts as well, quite a fair few between the both of the lads. And look, this could be where I think we could get to see, well, maybe some representation from the APAC to really verse out against the North American counterpart.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at how both these players have gone over the last couple of, you know, weeks and months of tournament play, it's hard. The one big bane of his existence has been Mohamed Lighton. I think there is very much a chip on his shoulder. He wants potentially a chance at a bit of a grudge match going into that next round, but obviously he's got to win this matchup against Ian, then Mo would have to win that matchup against Riley. Going into this one, though, I mean, APAC taking on NA. This is a story that's been talked about time and time again at esports. And look, the North Americans don't always have the nicest things to say about us at APAC. So we'll have to see if that carries over here into Clash Royale, of course.
To be fair, I will have to highlight real quick that Fatah's record, especially in the recent days, he was the one that in the Clash Royale League for Season 5. He was the one that 2-0'd Mohamed Light for the first place as well. So that man is an absolute menace and ready to rumble as well on top of it all.
Yeah, look, I mean, they've gone 2-2 in recent times. Definitely been a bit of a thorn, but already kicking things off. Tar looking to try and meet Ian where they can. First blood, towers-wise anyway, drawn by Tar.
Yeah, Tar releasing the tombstone as well to get the early sort of poke damage to come on through. As it stands, the Monk to be brought out as the potential push, but once again, the menace that is the Lava Hound is being brought out, plus the balloon as well. There's intentions for a lot of that early damage, and the Void to boot as well. That is going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, that combo's got a lot of wombo in it right now, and that tower is falling very quickly. The Royal Giant getting great damage out, and the Infernal Dragon trying to respond, and it's a very quick first tower rather, and they're going to carry on. Look to try and take down the King Tower, but it's going to be activated and start answering back. But wow, okay, Ian is right under the pump to start off this upper bracket match.
Yeah, no remorse whatsoever here. The continuous pressure here, plus the damage to the main tower, and that is looking to be just about to be all over Red Rover. I say that though, the first tower on the side of Tar might fall, but just 285 HP away from the demise, and we still have a minute and a half to go.
It doesn't get any easier. It doesn't get any easier at all.
And
ooh, just 218 HP and a dream to work with. Yeah, doesn't want to lose that crown just yet. Look, it's even up, but Ian is holding on by a thread.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But we do get to see our very first trade of the towers as well. All prior to this, it has been very much of just, you know, either one side gets the tower or the other one. This time, both do get, but the balloon to come on out, yeah, this should be very much, that's it, GG, to come on out. 6 HP, is that enough?
Oh, no, not quite enough to hold on. The 3 crowns go the way of Tar. Absolutely dominant there. That was brutal for Ian, unfortunately.
Yeah, quite a brutal beatdown, and now we get to see why Tar is the one that runs quite a few of the first places as well within the APAC region in general. I mean, the tower damage numbers basically tell the full story here. 10k, first time, I'm pretty sure this is the first time we do get to see the 10k or 10k plus really for the tower damage really to come around, and Ian, I don't think the poor man really expected anything of that sort to really come out against him.
Rolled and bowled. It was impressive. There's not much more that you can say about it. Tar, the Japanese representative, just putting the screws to North America and saying that, look, you guys have been beaten up on APAC for long enough. Now it's out there.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, Tar showing the APAC supremacy here, but still not over yet. Maybe this was just more so of a case that Ian did get caught off guard straight from the get-go, but maybe he'll be able to come out swinging in the second round, albeit this will be the sudden death for him, because the moment that is the moment he basically loses the grip on this one, well, off you go to the lower bracket, and from there on, the problems will start to mount only even further.
Yeah, look, it was very impressive from Tar, and Ian not being able to really get himself back into that matchup at all. Concerning, but I don't think it was the be-all and end-all. I think there's a very possible situation here where Ian says, okay, is that what we're going to do? Come into game 2 with a slightly different approach, look to try and dictate that pace a little bit more, because Tar, I mean, from day dot had him under the pump in that first one and just kept the momentum rolling. It was, I mean, we've seen it again. The Skeletal Dragon, the Lava Hound, and Balloon combo is just oppressive. We've seen it this one, and then in the last series as well. So whatever it is, anti-air, whatever the game plan is to try and deal with it, hopefully Ian knows exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed that, this time he won't let it really slip out as much as he did back in the round 1, because that was just an utter capitulation, really, in terms of how things really went here from him. But look, there's still an opportunity, still chances. It did look for a brief moment that it was an exchange of sort of punches here and there. The the Royal Giant to really be brought out to try to at least stem the bleed. They were able to trade the towers, but otherwise, really, things did not look as favorable as one could have hoped.
Yeah, far from. But Rage coming out early. There we go.
As well.
Looking to set up Monk, Dark Prince about to meet in this right-hand lane. Slow start from Tar, not overexposing what he's got in this deck. Phoenix there as well, and the Monk, just a nuisance, an absolute nuisance. He's going to follow it up very quickly with 2 additions to that field, and the Electro Spirit and the Wizard as well.
Yeah, E-Spirit won't really get to stay for long, but as it stands, the Wizard will be there to dish out quite some damage. Goblin Giant, though, second appearance in the play, but straight off the bat does get bullied rather quickly. Bomber is there to try to dish out some form of damage, but otherwise really all fairly futile. Barbarrel is there to maybe continue applying some pressure onto the right side, but unfortunately doesn't make it to the tower. Otherwise, really for Tar at the moment, he's just resting. He's taking a brief moment of respite, really, and from there on, ready to rumble. The guards are ready to go. The Fishman, it would be a perfect addition, and we will begin it all with a Monk push.
I mean, both these players probably looking for that matchup into the next round, either Riley or Mohamed Light, whoever comes out on top in that series. As it stands, I mean, Tar does have that one only in this matchup at the moment. The Monk, once again, really putting in work for Tar.
Yeah. Evil Wizard as well to come out swinging. Could be able to put some dent onto that Phoenix as well before any sort of damage does get dealt, and quite a heavy response with that. Royal Giant to come on through. The Fishman is there as well to hook him in, and yeah, look, this is a lot of damage. Is that going to be enough to hold off the Goblin Giant? No, it's not, and a lot of damage does come on in, so initial momentum all of a sudden is in favor of Ian.
Yeah, even get those 2 attacks off is big. Lasted, and that's the power of the beefy Goblin Giant, hanging around for as long as it did, throwing down his carry on to distract. Monk there once again, 30 seconds left. Advantage Ian going into overtime in about 25 seconds, but a decent push here. Could deny overtime entirely. We'll have to see. You can see Ian stacking things up, trying to distract Tar, drops the Evo Wizard, the shield pops, gets great damage out, follows it up with the guards, and that push is nullified, so he will keep himself in with a chance at overtime.
Yeah, overtime is still very much going to be well at large, but yeah, man, a lot of reactive play to come out from Tar, not really much of the way to dictate the pace. Funnily enough, the left lane completely untouched. There has been very much a right lane brawl once again. The Fishman trying to hook that Goblin Giant into that trap, but unfortunately it has done more damage to Tar rather than to his opposition.
Royal Giant dropped in response. The Fisherman, all the peripheries there behind the Royal Giant eaten up by the arrows, unfortunately, and the Prince and the Bomber coming through. Fisherman with the Barbarrel, is it going to be enough? Will keep the Prince off the tower for the moment. The Barbarian out of that barrel will finish off the Bomber. So, I mean, look, a great defensive setup there from Tar to deny what could have been a rather detrimental push. And there you go, slow push of the Monk. Knights out as well. He's got the Fisherman there to try and alleviate. Goblin Giant does get through, will be eaten up by a barrel. And we are starting to see those units stacked up, but again, the arrows come through and wipe them out.
Yeah, the arrows are deadly here, man. The sheer amount of damage that has been dealt already. Phenomenal. Finally, the left lane does get a response back, but is that enough? Because with the Dark Prince push to come on through, push comes to shove, things are still going to be very deadly. 783 HP is the only thing that keeps us away from the conclusion of the overtime, but 35 seconds remaining as well will also mean even more pressure. Is that going to be enough, though, is about to be the answer to that question, because
big damage, that's the damage. Tar, he's done huge damage here, and that tower is going to go down with a fireball to finish, and Tar takes it at a 2-0. Ian looked like he was battling back to force us to a decider, but unfortunately it's not to be. Ian will have to carry on into the lower bracket for the remainder of this tournament. And Tar breathes a sigh of relief and says, look, Mo, we're 2-2 at the moment. In recent times, it's time to figure out who takes that lead going into the grand finals.
Oh, yeah. Tar, though, I gotta say, until that sort of the mid/end part of the overtime, things looked extremely dicey. And I mean, the tower damage numbers don't really tell a good chunk of the story, because that whole right lane brawl was something just out of just science fiction books, honestly. The fact that we only got to see the left lane get even remotely sort of approached, I believe only once we got into the overtime, is another point to really make, that both sort of players had that tunnel vision going for them in a very heavy manner.
Yeah, I mean, it was scrappy, it was a bit chaotic, but it was exactly what Tar needed. He thrived in that chaos, and look, our first 3 crown of the broadcast goes the way of Tar in that opening round, and then he follows it up with, look, I would argue probably a little bit dicey on the whole, but a win nonetheless to round out the 2-0 in this upper bracket matchup.
Absolutely so, and with all the decks that have been brought out, Tar, I gotta commend him for that very first deck that he did bring out, with just the sheer amount of damage that was dealt to Ian. Certainly forced quite a fair bit of a rotation. The double Prince lineup from Ian, though, in hopes of trying to get some sort of a push going, but unfortunately not enough meat there to keep on chugging on through. And unfortunately, well, yeah, the grip did loosen up at the last possible moment in the overtime, and this is where things really did not come to fruition as much as Ian would have wanted. Thankfully, though, for him, he's still got an opportunity, still got a chance, and that is going to be the lower bracket run. But from there on, things are going to be dicey.
I mean, speaking of dicey, it's time to get spicy. Our final match, day 1, is promising to be an absolute heater coming into it. Of course, Riley taking on Mohamed Light. This matchup, I mean, great minds alike, but I mean, Mohamed Light is the man for Clash Royale in terms of
battle count
results and performance.
Yeah, the battle count difference, though, is arguably the biggest indicator here as well, is just in terms of how many games we got to see, from both of these players. 20,000 battles in comparison to Riley's at 3.5. Truly, surely there's more battles to Riley's name than there are, but as it stands, yeah, Mohamed Light has shown us some absolutely stunner performances. Whereas for Riley, yeah, look, a few times the grip has slipped. So maybe that could be the downfall of the man.
Yeah, I mean, Mohamed looking ice cold under the pump. He consistently just keeps his cool and makes things happen for himself. But Riley, I mean, he's got that content creator buff, obviously, at the end of the day. Increased loot rolls, increased XP, everything that you could possibly want as a content creator. But will it matter here in the World Tour? Of course, we'll have to see him take it on Mohamed. Like, it seems Mohamed's been stacking up buffs of his own. Look, it does make for potentially a heck of a clash, or realistically, there is every possibility that Mohamed Light does what Mohamed Light does best and absolutely dominates this best of 3.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at the overall records as well and the achievements for both Riley and Mohamed Light. In the past, the one big thing that really separates Mohamed Light here from Riley is that you look at his record during the Clash Royale League for season 1 to 3, and all of those back-to-back are his winnings over Adriel, over Tar, over Pedro as well. And it tells basically the story of just the absolute and utter domination here, with him being, the big shot here going into the overall bracket. Whereas for Riley, there's a few things that still need to be proven. Yes, he has the brains, he has the theory craft material, but the overall consistency in the performances definitely leaves much to be desired of. I mean, you're looking, the very last win that he had was back at the Supremacy League Lightning Edition Season 1. And apart from that, the next one after that was back at the qualifiers for the GKR League as well. And that now starts to paint the picture that, whilst overall the man can still be very much of a legendary performer, when it comes down to the raw power, the raw experience here, Mohamed Light might just be the big caliber, really, of a player.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's gearing himself up to be sort of Clash Royale's official final boss. We'll see, how many phases, how many mechanics, how many stages you got to work with in that final boss. But, I mean, look, it's him making that upper bracket run. He's looking quite comfortable. Even when it looked like potentially he was going to have a win slip away from him, he kept his cool and got it done and picked up that victory. So, I mean, Riley arguably has his work cut out for him going into this matchup. So hopefully, he's got the coach with him, working, trying to figure out, you know, what is the best approach to this situation. Is it enough? That's the question, because Mo's got his own coach working with him as well.
Yeah, counterplay is going to be key here, I reckon. I mean, remembering how dominant some of the lineups from Mo Light have been, you definitely have to very much either commit to the bit or be able to, you know, counter strat and figure out even before the game begins sort of where we are actually gonna head. But straight off the bat, well, let's see what's actually gonna come out from the potential king himself.
That's exactly it. And, well, Goblin Barrel seems to be the answer, and it's rolled bold and sent for 6. Suspicious Bush making its first appearance on broadcast, though, and well, the earthquake is going to reveal those sneaky bushes to be not actually what they appear.
Not at all. Queen as well. But they're on really from Riley. Good amount of just spam ability with just the sheer abundance of just smaller units. The Dark Goblin as well to come on through. Whereas the Royal Delivery is going to be there to also assist for the push. So far, it's 1-for-1. It's been in terms of the trades. I feel.
Well, a little bit of extra damage going the way of Mohamed Light, but about 7 HP the difference. The Goblins not going to make it near the tower, and the Suspicious Bush once again goes to work. And is it going to be revealed by the earthquake? No, it's in fact going to be revealed by the Tesla Tower, forces them out into the open to be mocked up. And yeah, it's again, both players seeming to be thinking steps ahead of each other, and no real massive leads establishing themselves.
Yeah, the absolute 3D chess that is being played here between the two of these players. But Riley actually deploying the Goblin Barrels as well as some of the further reinforcements, but unfortunately couldn't really muster much of it. Suspicious Bush as well to come on through. Does not actually get revealed by any of that, and might just be able to dish out just enough amount of damage there straight from the get-go.
I mean, again, it's looking like Mo could be struggling a little bit here, but maybe not struggling, but he's definitely on the worst end of the situation. Royal Delivery gonna just land and clear out those goblins. Riley has a lead. Question being, in the next 40 seconds, can he hold it?
I gotta say though, so far Mohamed Light's response to some of those Goblin Barrels as well, the timing of his deployment of the Royal Delivery as well has been absolutely phenomenal to just counter every single bit of that play. But the initial bleed has been so far quite favorable. I believe we are actually on somewhat of the equal health pool as well between the two towers on both sides, so the overtime might show us some absolutely disgusting plays. But in comes another Goblin Barrel and the Royal Delivery. This might be a potential start for the push.
Yeah, he's got the answers that he needs for the bait situation at the moment.
The reveal as well, perfect.
Yeah, look, the damage is going to be key here. He's going to clear out all this utility. Mohamed really has, put this deck together very, very well.
He definitely was well aware of what was happening. Tesla Tower that's revealed the bush as well. This should be all just about right. And I mean, we're looking at the overall damage. Left tower off Riley does definitely feel worse for the wear, but I say the same thing can be said for Mo Light's left tower, as it suffers a severe amount of damage, 1500 HP. From there on out, just the spam of the goblin attacks has been absolutely nuts, whether it's the goblin push, the dark goblins, the Goblin Barrel, so on and so forth, as well as the Suspicious Bush. So things been looking really good in terms of the poking potential from Riley.
And all of a sudden stack up that left-hand lane. Is it going to be enough? The Royal Delivery. Sorry, not the Royal Delivery, another Tesla Tower, in fact, going down. Big damage out across the river. Looking to put that Archer Princess to work. Again, these buildings coming in so clutch. Damage differential is dwindling by the moment. Log out to clear the goblins once again, but Riley consistently building up that chip damage. It has just been a right use and the right thorn in the side of Mohamed Light. Despite a pretty solid draft all said and done, it may not be enough to deal with that chip damage.
albeit the Tesla Tower does seem to be doing quite a fair bit of work, but the amount of just poke ability that is coming out has been just a little bit too overpowering. And whilst the logs were well timed, unfortunately, I think by the time we see the 20 seconds elapse, this is going to be the round to go in favor of Riley, just purely off the back of that right tower being extra healthy. But I say this, health has been dwindling. Maybe there's still an opportunity, but not for long.
Incredibly efficient from both of them. Coming down to the tiebreaker, yeah, look, it was just enough in the end for Mohamed. That was a close run thing. I was considering maybe the work had been done. And again, Mohamed doing what Mohamed does and just pulling out those very, very clutch victories at the very, very last second.
131 HP difference is also one of those heartbreaking turnarounds really here for Riley. Everything looked so beautiful. I mean, you look at that, the tower damage was there and the overall scoreline has been great, but the amount of just the sheer spammability, and I'd say the biggest savior for Mo Light there has been the absolutely perfect timing on the Royal delivery and the logs as well. Without those, it would have been a completely different turnaround in favor of Riley.
I mean, like almost a heist there from Mohamed Light to steal that away, and Riley, I think he could have probably a little bit frustrated. I would be in that situation, but I mean, look, still best of 3. It's only 1. There's still potentially 2 more to go. Riley has the opportunity to reverse sweep this, and he did play that very, very well. So, I mean, look, Mohamed Light, can he do it again? Can he just keep victory out of the hands of Riley? I mean, look, the way he's playing there, it seems like it's almost an inevitability.
Yeah. Look, I mean, when he's able to just steal away that sort of overtime scoreline, despite the tower damage being not in his favor, yeah, look, there's definitely an opportunity to, shut the whole progress down. I mean, as one wise person once said, it's 95% mental, and well, certainly this might very much apply here as well in the Clash Royale competition.
Yeah, I mean, just reading into the debate, having the spell set up that Mohamed did, I wouldn't say exactly what Riley was trying to do, but he had a decent inkling, I think, and that's why we saw that play out the way that he did. So, I mean, Mohamed, I think the amount of Clash Royale that he's played, the amount of success that he's had, he's sort of been and seen everything that you possibly could in this game, and there's very little at this stage that would catch someone like him off guard.
Oh, yeah. Things are certainly looking like all accounted for on the side of Mo Light. Side of Riley, though. Good counterplay, though. I have to say, the idea to bring out the pokes, the idea to just keep on consistently applying that pressure to force some of the picks to come out, some of the early deployments as well, certainly proved to be quite beneficial. I mean, that pressure up until the last very moment was just absolutely phenomenal from Riley, and he should not be really, discounted going into the next matchup, because look, things could get quite dicey for Mo Light if he doesn't lock in, because I mean we've seen at the very beginning of the matchup a very nice sort of cheeky smile to come out from him, and then going into the conclusions like, oh, not actually sure, may have actually a little bit shot in the foot there. And yeah, like as a quick highlight once again, Earthquake, the Royal delivery, and the log, the 3 saviors of Mo Light's lineup in that first round.
Yeah, I mean, playing into the bait, and I mean, reading it again, knew the setup that he needed. Concerned potentially about the cannon cart and the Valkyrie, and just that, sort of medium beef, being able to dish out some decent punishment as well. But look, Mohamed knows exactly what he wants to do. He knows the game plan. He's worked on the game plan. He's coming in pretty well stocked, and well, Riley, he's going to have to try something a little bit different. If he wants to get one over here.
Yeah. I mean, there's always the opportunities to, try to go for some of the more heavier comps. I mean, so far, the moment we basically get to see the Lava Hound to be introduced, it feels like it's a very heavy sort of advantage for a number of comp lineups. So we got to see the double Prince lineup as well being brought out, albeit with a very much of a varying success, but success nonetheless, really, to be able to apply some really good pressure. The main thing is, though, the moment the poke comes out, the moment stuff like Goblin Drills, the Goblin Spearmen as well, those become extremely painful to deal with.
Well, look, I know some things about the world of esports commentary, Cthulhu, and the one thing I do know is I do like me a good decider. I wouldn't be too upset if this one did go to a third matchup, but already you can see slightly different approach here from Riley in the attack, and well, we do see the Void and the Zap coming out, so once again, Mohamed investing into the spells.
More spells. We did get to see a few of those attempts at the double spells to be brought out, but unfortunately really with varying level of success. But as it stands, this might be a perfect opportunity here to try to distract. Perfect shutdown of the full-on wave with the Royal Ghost to come on in. And the spells might be just the right solution here. A little bit of poke from the E-Spirit as well. The Wizard, or rather the Evo Wizard. Pardon me, it is getting quite rather late at night here in New Zealand.
What do you mean? It's only 3 o'clock in the morning.
Only
It's
3
no, look, it is what it is. It's esports. It's esports, baby. That's all you need to know. Right now, though, lots of potential. I mean, you look at Riley's setup, low elixir cost, a lot of potential for recycling, being able to get a lot of those powerhouse win conditions out. We do see the Prince coming through once again. Lumberjack there as well in the P.E.K.K.A, so we do see the full deck revealed for Mohamed.
Yeah, good choice of the lineup actually for Mohamed there. Yeah, with P.E.K.K.A being a very nice, very solid tank as well. On top of that, the Lumberjack to be brought on board with a few extra hit points. There's definitely good opportunities to really apply some good amount of damage here. On the side of Riley, though, we get to see, once again, the good amount of pokeability. The mortar to be introduced for the long-range play, the Evil Mortar, as a matter of fact, to be brought out. The Skeletons as well to be the main force, the main pushing force, as well as at the Infernal Dragon as well, will be a big deal.
Prince looking to cut deep, gets the damage out of the tower. Zap comes through, slows him down. Royal Ghost will intercept before he can get any real damage out. Follow up Riley. Looking to dump those units, get those spearmen into play, and well, the answer seems from Mohamed Light is to send the Lumberjack into the thick of things. Again, it's this tennis match of both players just throwing what they can at their opponent and hoping to find an opening.
So already a lot of damage being applied here. The Monk and the rest of the group here from Riley actually applied just potentially enough of that pressure to really force a little bit more sweat to come out from Mohamed Light. The Wizard on through won't really be able to deal any tangible damage. Sudden death is now in full effect with 120 seconds to go. Infernal Dragon to be sent on the left lane would deal quite a fair bit of damage. So now the deployment of the Evil Wizard as well, plus the P.E.K.K.A, should be just about enough to halt the approach.
Play push guy right, stagger the Inferno Dragon and the Monk. They will meet on the bridge. Monk there looking to try and get something going with the Ram Raider heading towards that tower. Big damage. Unfortunately will be felled, and it's only the one to hit quit, and the Miner in behind Mohamed's tower is going to give Riley once again that opening to take a lead here. Prince doing what he can. It's limited. There's only so much. Mohamed is trying to find his avenue back into this. A minute 15 on the clock here for overtime. You can see Mohamed drops the Ram Raider, has the Wizard there as well. Looking into that left-hand tower. Big damage out, and he will in fact lower it past his own. And Mohamed has that opportunity to take the lead. Evo Wizard, he's taken it. And he's going to stop this push as well.
Yeah, now he needs to just hold this advantage as much as possible. 1 HP differential here at the moment going for the side, and he needs to now get that damage. The Zap does that in spades as well. Now he needs to hold on to this advantage. He needs to hold on for the next 40 seconds, but as a matter of fact, the damage keeps on mounting up. The Void comes through as well to shut down the push. The Miner as well is there to keep on undermining the whole operation, but halted before any further damage has been dealt. This is so far looking possible for Mo Light to close it all out in 2-0 fashion, but this is a very, very close contention all of a sudden.
Miner there in behind the tower. Is it going to be enough? He will. He gets it below Riley's tower. Riley gets it below Mohamed's tower, rather. And that's exactly what he's looking for. 6 seconds left to go. Can Mohamed thread the needle? No, the Miner comes out for Riley once again. No, never mind. The turnaround, the damage is there. How has Mohamed gone and done it yet again? The man is the Indiana Jones of Clash Royale Esports. He slid in under the door, reached back, grabbed his crown, and he walks away with a 2-0 here. That is impressive.
That is an absolute stunner of a turnaround there. But look, I have to say, Riley, big ups to him for being able to put this much of a show, this much of a pressure as well. Because look, yeah, this was very much down to the last few seconds of the overtime before we even got to see as to who would be the winner of that round. Unfortunately for Riley, couldn't really get any of those rounds out of the BO3 in his favor, so therefore a lower bracket for him. More light though, he gets to keep his of the deal and continues the run of the upper bracket. Looking at the tower damage as well, only 600 differential here, and it shows. I mean, it was a very close contention. The miners from Riley were a key asset for his run to ensure that the presence is still there, still established, and very much of a force to be reckoned with. Whereas on the side of Mohamed Light, I mean, there has been a number of plays that he managed to bring out to just keep on forcing the issue.
Yeah, I mean, how does he keep getting away with it? Cthulhu Mohamed Light,
smooth criminal.
In the dying moments of a round, pulls out a victory time and time again. He can't be stopped. He won't be stopped, and he will just keep doing it every opportunity that presents itself. And a brilliant read in that first round, does what Mohamed needs it to do and gets the win over Riley. And then, look, the man just makes magic happen.
Oh yeah, round one, deck one was genuinely magic in every possible sense of saying it. And then you look at the deck two, and yeah, the Ram Rider was a big key asset there as well to just breach through the whole line of defense of Riley and keep on rolling. The P.E.K.K.A was there, absolutely phenomenal turnaround. The Royal Ghost as well, the Lumberjack was phenomenal. So I gotta give kudos there where they due. Light managed to really find the cracks in the defense and really force the issue against his opponent. Whereas for Riley, really, he just tried to play his own game. That's basically the main difference here, where one was looking for the cracks in the other's play, the other one was just focusing on his own play.
Having a look at the bracket as it stands coming into the end of day one, Cthulhu, it was North America trying to hold out and hope for a spot in the upper bracket finals, and Ian out of America and of course Riley out of Canada. Neither of them could crack on into the upper bracket finals. North America reduced down to the lowers. It's going to be Egypt taking on Japan, and Tar and Mohamed Light in the upper bracket finals tomorrow. So that one is gearing up to be a very, very exciting one. But down in the lower bracket, where those hopefuls looking to claw their way back at a chance at redemption, Samuel Basotto versus Rin to start things off, and then of course Adriel taking on Coco. Cthulhu, same time tomorrow, same place tomorrow, and of course remember, language broadcasts going on: Portuguese, French, Japanese, and look, it's great to have them as well. Of course, Cthulhu, it's been an absolute pleasure here for the LPL Clash Royale World Tour. I mean, surely you're as excited as I am for more.
Oh, I'm keen. I'm keen for the grudge matches. I'm keen for the storylines to be unraveled even further. I'm keen for that matchup of Tar versus Mohamed Light. And look, yeah, this has been an absolute banger of a night already.
It has been. That makes you back tomorrow to see how things conclude for stage one of the LPL Clash Royale World Tour. We'll see you guys tomorrow.